Halo semua, perkenalkan saya Vanji Eko Giovanni, dikenal sebagai polisi ganteng gamer. Sebuah kebanggaan bagi saya menjadi ambasador di Top Clans 2020 untuk Indonesia. Ini adalah turnamen e-sport multigame paling besar ya di Asia Tenggara di tahun 2020. Menurut saya, passion itu adalah menjadi lebih gigih, berani, dan pantang menyerah. 2020 ini adalah tahun yang sulit karena COVID-19, banyak orang yang kehilangan nyawanya, kehilangan harapan, kehilangan keyakinan untuk masa depan. Tetapi kita tidak boleh menyerah, tetaplah menjaga jarak, menjaga kesehatan, memakai masker, dan percayalah pada harapan. Turnamen ini akan dimulai tanggal 25 September 2020 dan kalian semua bisa menonton melalui channel-channel official dari Top Clans 2020. Ada Facebook, ada YouTube, dan juga ada Twitch. Mari kita ikuti acara ini bersama-sama dan ucapkan slogannya dengan semangat, "This is passion." Jadi buat teman-teman semua, jangan lupa like video Papol dan dukung terus Papol. Terima kasih.
Hai, salam semua. Saya Master Kokan. Saya berasa amat bangga kerana dapat menjadi duta Malaysia untuk Top Clan 2020, iaitu acara terbesar untuk pertandingan SEA Multi-Games Esport 2020. Top Clan akan mengadakan tournament terbesar mereka dengan hadiah yang terkumpul cukup lumayan bernilai $85,000 USD. Saya adalah seorang content creator dan juga saya seorang streamer. Perkara yang paling penting bagi saya adalah saya mendapatkan semangat dan juga kepuasan ketika bermain game. Bagi saya kepuasan itu adalah apabila ketika saya bermain game. Jika saya bermain game, saya berpeluang dapat berkenalan dengan kawan-kawan baru. Dan perkara yang paling penting sekali adalah saya dapat menjadi ahli gaming community di dunia ini. Itulah dia kepuasan kita. Pertandingan ini akan bermula pada 25 September ini dan kita boleh menyaksikan secara live di saluran rasmi Top Clan 2020, Facebook, YouTube dan juga Twitch. Marilah bersama-sama mengikuti permainan dan juga perlawanan ini dan tidak lupa untuk melaungkan slogan This is Passion! Peace!
Hi everyone, I'm Shir Tolentino Barnacha, also known as Cherizawa, and it is my great honor to be the Philippine Ambassadress of Taplands 2020. Taplands 2020 is the biggest premier Southeast Asian multi-game esports tournament of 2020. Taplands 2020 will allow players from all over Southeast Asia to show their passion for video games. Rules of Survival will be a returning title, continuing the firefight between the best teams in the region from last year. Joining it are the newcomers Dota 2 for PC, Tekken 7 for PC, and Marvel Super War for mobile. Completing the list is Tom and Jerry Chase, also for mobile, with its Taplands appearance being its first esports event in Southeast Asia. Taplands 2020 will fuel the passion of countless gamers around the world with the total prize pool of $85,000 US. I am a gamer, creator, and Facebook streamer. I've been playing video games growing up, but never in my wildest dreams that I imagined doing it for a living. I officially started streaming over a year ago when Amplify gave me the opportunity. Since then, I have expanded not only the games I'm playing but also my community, and the most important thing is that I find passion in playing games. I mainly stream mobile games and I occasionally play computer games. As for me, passion is doing something without you even knowing it. It's like a part of you is missing if you're not doing that particular thing, which in my case is playing games and interacting with the people I met online, which are now my friends. Taplands 2020 tournament will begin on September 25 and we can watch through Taplands 2020's official channel. Their official Facebook page is facebook.com/taplandsofficial and their official YouTube channel is youtube.com/taplandsesports. Let's follow the game together and say this is passion!
สวัสดีค่ะโนอี้ค่ะหรือว่าอีโวตโนอี้หนูรู้สึกเป็นเกียรติมากๆเลยที่ได้เป็น Thailand Ambassador ของ Top Can 2020 วันนี้เนยจะมาแนะนำ Top Can 2020 ซึ่ง Top Can 2020 ก็คือการจัดการแข่งขันเกม e-sport ที่ยิ่งใหญ่และสุดพิเศษที่สุดใน Southeast Asia ของปี 2020 นี้ซึ่ง Top Can 2020 เนี่ยเขามีการจัดการแข่งขันเกมมากมายหลายเกมเลยเพื่อนๆคนไหนที่สนใจก็เข้าไปดูรายละเอียดตรงลิงก์นี้ได้เลยเดี๋ยวเนยจะขึ้นลิงก์ไว้ให้นะคะส่วนตัวเนยชอบเล่นมาเวลทอมแอนด์เจอรี่เพราะว่าแบบสนุกมากเลยเพลินเล่นได้ทั้งวันเลยค่ะซึ่งไม่ต้องสงสัยเลยนะว่าทำไมเนยถึงเล่นหลายเกมนะคะเพราะว่าส่วนตัวเนยเป็นสตรีมเมอร์เนยต้องค้นหาแพชชั่นจากการเล่นเกมซึ่งแพชชั่นของหนูก็คือการทำให้คนดูมีความสุขยิ่งหนูเห็นคนดูที่ดูหนูมีความสุขยิ่งทำให้หนูมีแรงผลักดันในการทำสิ่งนั้นต่อไปให้มันดีขึ้นเรื่อยๆค่ะและสุดท้ายนี้เนยอยากจะชวนทุกคนไปชมการแข่งขันที่จะเริ่มขึ้นในวันที่ 25 กันยายนนี้เป็นต้นไปได้ที่ Top Can 2020 Official Channel และอย่าลืมกดไลค์กดติดตามเป็นกำลังใจให้เนยด้วยนะคะเนยอยากให้ทุกคนมีความสุขและสนุกไปกับการแข่งขันนี้ This is passion
Xin chào tất cả các bạn. Mình xin tự giới thiệu mình là Đơ Ca Khỉ. Tên thật của mình là Phạm Hoàng Lộc. Hiện tại mình đang là streamer tự do trên Facebook Gaming Việt Nam. Hôm nay mình rất vinh dự được thông báo mình sẽ trở thành đại sứ khu vực Việt Nam của giải đấu Top Clan 2020. Giải đấu có thể coi là lớn nhất khu vực Đông Nam Á dành cho các tựa game mobile nói chung và esports nói riêng, được tổ chức bởi hãng game SEA. Top Clan là giải đấu quy tụ rất nhiều bộ môn nổi tiếng trong khu vực Đông Nam Á, chẳng hạn như là Marvel Super Alien, Dota 2, Tom và Jerry, Chase, Tekken 7 và đặc biệt là tựa game đã được phát hành ở Việt Nam là Rule of Survival. Giải đấu có quy mô toàn Đông Nam Á và là giải đấu esports tổ hợp lớn nhất khu vực. Với tư cách là đại sứ khu vực Việt Nam của giải đấu Top Clan thì DK Khỉ cảm thấy vô cùng tự hào khi lần đầu tiên Khỉ được thấy mình được sống với niềm đam mê game của mình, và niềm đam mê này được công nhận bởi cộng đồng quốc tế. Với slogan This is passion, thổ bùng đam mê, giải đấu Top Clan là nơi để các bạn có niềm đam mê giống Đơ Ca Khỉ được theo dõi sự phát triển của ngành game quốc tế như thế nào. Giải đấu sẽ được tổ chức vào ngày 25 tháng 9 sắp tới và chúng ta có thể theo dõi trên cả fanpage Facebook lẫn kênh YouTube. Hãy truy cập fanpage Top Clan 2020 và kênh YouTube Top Clan Esports để theo dõi Đơ Ca Khỉ và giải đấu nhé. This is passion, thổi buồn đam mê. Các bạn hãy cùng Đơ Ca Khỉ chinh phục giải đấu Top Clan 2020 nhé.
Hi everyone! It's me, your Ate Nikki from facebook.com/playwithnikki. I am a gamer, a streamer, a shoutcaster, and a host.
Everyone, I'm Shir Tolentino Barnacha, also known as Cherizawa, and it is my great honor to be the Philippine Ambassadress of Taplands 2020.
Hey guys, Asura here, and if you guys don't know who I am a professional shoutcaster, esports commentator, content creator, and streamer residing in the Philippines.
Hai, salam semua. Saya Master Kokan. Saya berasa amat bangga kerana dapat menjadi duta Malaysia untuk Top Clan 2020.
Hello everyone, I'm Rosdak ASG, also known as Madam Mayora. I'm the team manager of Team Rosdak.
Halo semua, perkenalkan saya Vanji Eko Giovanni, dikenal sebagai polisi ganteng gamer.
สวัสดีค่ะโนอี้ค่ะหรือว่าอีโวตโนอี้หนูรู้สึกเป็นเกียรติมากๆเลยที่ได้เป็น Thailand Ambassador ของ Top Can 2020
Hi, my name is Holler. I'm a caster, streamer, content creator, and you can find most of my work online at Holler TV.
Hi everyone, my name is Bobby and I'm here at NetEase Games. I'm one of the community managers for Rules of Survival and Top Clans Esports.
Hi everyone, my name is Arthur. I'm a caster, analyst, coach, and streamer from Malaysia for the game Dota 2.
Hello everyone, I am Nam, Catcaster. I am shoutcaster of many games from Thailand.
Hi everyone, I'm Clyde Lewis, player of Savage Gaming and player of one of the most trending games in PH, which is Ross.
Hey everyone, I'm Pat, the marketing manager of Top Clans from NetEase Games. I'm from the Philippines and this is my home office.
It's really sad that the COVID-19 pandemic has affected each and everyone, especially the esports scene, including me as a gamer, a shoutcaster, and a streamer. It has definitely affected me in a lot of ways. Gigs has been cancelled, LAN tournaments has been cancelled.
The pandemic affected us in a way that some of our players were not able to practice and play because they don't have their own computer. And we're usually present and cheering for our teammates in person at events like this, but now we're not able to do that because of the pandemic.
So this pandemic has definitely hit everybody hard, even those, working in the esports or gaming industry. People might think that, we all do our job at home, and some of the time we do, but some of the time we also do those big events, live events.
The epidemic affected us in the ways that we can practice together because one of my teammates doesn't have own computer. But we still practicing and teaching him our new strategy during ECQ.
think passion is defined by how much time you spend in the 24 hours of your day doing something that you love and enjoy.
Passion for me is still doing what you love even though it was really hard for you. Passion is what drives me to prove everyone else wrong. Gaming is my passion.
Passion for me and for my team is what pushes us to grind harder and what motivates us to push us to our limits. Gaming should not be all about competition, gaming should be about passion.
I hope that Top Clans 2020 will bring out the best in every team that joined the tournament. And thank you as well for the opportunity for us to play in your tournament.
My expectation in Top Clans 2020 is a successful tournament, and I know that we will get a champion and show to all people that our play is remarkable.
I hope that Top Clans 2020 will differ and fun like last year, Top Clans Arena. We have been waiting for this, and I cannot wait to see the result.
Top Clans returns this year to become the platform for gaming entertainment and to give an opportunity for competitive gamers to showcase their talents and be rewarded. So I hope you guys enjoy it.
This is passion.
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 It is passion.
This 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 is passion.
Hello everyone, welcome to Top Clans 2020. As the biggest multi-game tournament in Southeast Asia region, we aim to become the digital esport platform that services all players, brands, and game developers to have everyone come to embrace our love for game and esport. This year, we have 5 game titles join Top Clans. A total of 28 days of tournaments will be live streamed in English, Thai, and Malay, hoping to bring you the best esport experience. Today we'll present you guys the Tom and Jerry Chase group stage competition of Top Clans 2020. Before we get started, don't forget to follow our official Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch channels for all Top Clan 2020's latest updates. The game will start very soon. Our wonderful casters will take it from here.
And welcome everyone to the Top Clans 2020 Tom and Jerry Chase SEA Invitationals, and we will be your commentators for this evening. My name is Sayora, and with me is Chisto. So Chisto, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm excited to see, all these teams come out and compete today. And yesterday we saw, some of these teams really just come out, with their strategies. And unfortunately for some, they will be competing in the lower bracket today, and some of them will be out of the tournament.
So of course, we will be witnessing our today's schedule in a bit, but right now, of course, they will be competing for that whopping prize pool of 20,000 US dollars, guys. So really excited to see who gets to be on the top. But for now, let's look at a quick overview, guys, of what will happen for today. So right now we are into the group stages that is going to happen that started yesterday until the 26th. It's going to be a best of threes double elimination, and of course these respective teams are divided into 4 groups, which were based in their final rank mode and during their registration phases.
And of course, after the group stage, we have the elimination stage happening October 31st and onwards, and that part will be a single elimination format where things will be, a lot more crucial, a lot more important for all teams to really perform at their highest level. But yeah, going back to the double elimination that you mentioned earlier, of course, we are going to be having our lower bracket matches today. So unfortunately, some of the teams competing here will be their last day here at Top Clans.
Indeed. So in a bit, we'll be hovering up to today's schedule. But for now, we are going to see once again the prize pool again at $20,000 all in all, which is divided accordingly, as you guys see into your screens right now. And of course, the scoring rules as well is indicated there as well. And of course, there are a lot of options for the mice to go and work with for their winning conditions here. And of course, the cats simply, they have to dispatch some mice up in their sleeves.
As you see here, the groups. Of course, today we will only be seeing action from Group A. Here's behind PU Clan, Joyful, and RMF. We're yet to see the other groups compete, Group C and Group D. But yeah, going back, very excited to see the rest of Group A battle it out here. As here we see the schedule, guys. Of course, we will be kicking it off with Behind versus PU Clan. Followed by that is Joyful and RMF. And for our final matchup of the day, it's yet to be decided.
Indeed. So if I'm not mistaken, these both of our teams are yet to find out their respective positions in our brackets. So right now, the first match that we will be witnessing is going to be Team Behind versus the PIU Clan. If I'm not mistaken, they were the ones who were the winners of yesterday's matches. And some quick overviews of the overall team compositions. Again, going back, they have their own preferences. We've seen some actions from yesterday that Detective Jerry is very effective in terms of the overall lineup of the mice, and of course the OG Tom is the one mostly ranking up the ranks right there in terms of effectivity when they are choosing a certain cat.
Yeah, and for both of these squads in the upper bracket, they were actually the teams that were able to pick up the victories 2-0 yesterday. So I am excited to see how they will match up against each other. Of course, both of them having dominant runs against their first matches. So hopefully both of them will be carrying on that momentum heading into this match.
Truly. And yeah, in just a short while, we will be loading into our drafting phase in a bit. But for now, I'm really excited to see if yesterday we did see some essential picks from both the cat and the mice. So I want to see if there will be some pocket picks that our teams are going to dish out. And with that being said, Chisto, we are now headed on to the first half of our battle between Behind as the cat using OG Tom, and of course PIU Clan as the mice here, having that King Jerry, Detective Jerry, Robin Hood Jerry, and of course Magician Jerry.
Yeah, pretty standard coming from both teams right now in terms of what they have picked. These are essentially the 4 popular mice that we see. Sometimes we get to see Mouseketeer Tuffy as well, but for the most part, it seems like both teams really just going with what's strong right now in the current meta in terms of what characters they can choose from. And earlier you mentioned Detective Jerry. I feel like he's pretty much standard with whatever composition of mice you might want to bring here going up against the cat.
Truly. And yeah, with that being said, we will be heading on to our game right now. So this is going in every half, guys. We have 3 phases all in all. So this is the first one, which is the patrolling phase for the mice, with them utilizing the robot mouse up on their sleeves to just see and scout the areas and to locate the cheese where they are specifically located.
Very, very crucial here, and it's actually the first time we're seeing this map, I believe. Look at Tom here, all the way at the top of the cruise ship. But yeah, of course, it's only the first match. We have a long evening ahead of us in terms of competition between these teams. But yeah, of course, since this is the upper bracket, both of them still carrying the momentum from yesterday. As right now we see Bell here just setting some mouse traps in areas he feels the mice will be headed towards.
And of course, to actually get some concoctions right there to, buff him up and be invisible for a short amount of time. So right now we are heading on to the dispatch phase, and Tom has to get as many mouse as he can right here. So really spotting out Asa right here onto the very first seconds of our game. So this is looking pretty good for him. Was able to awake a Bruce right there, but it's not really going to deter him from actually capturing Asa. And now he is going to put him into the rocket chair, which is coincidentally in the nearby cheese too.
Oh, very, very early hits here getting landed by Bell. Already tying one of the mice to the rocket, like you said, and he's defending the position pretty well. The rest of PIU Clan still not able to rescue him, and as I say that, they're finally be able to get him off.
Indeed. So right now this is in a bit of a reactive state for the mice right here. This is a good job for Bell, constantly on guard for this King Jerry, because we did notice from yesterday's matches that King Jerry is starting to become some kind of threat, especially when saving their fellow mice. So Asa right here uses his strength buffs to actually chase Tom. Like that, actually to just really harass him away so he could go for the save here for King Jerry.
Yeah, he's actually dispatched one of the mice already. So King Jerry already out of the running here for Bell very early on, and you were talking about how important King Jerry is when it comes to rescuing his teammates. Now that he's out of the picture, it might be a lot harder now for PIU Clan to actually get these wedges of cheese out, as Bell is doing so much work at the moment.
And I like it because it's only less than 2 minutes of our game, and he already dispatched one. So this could be a big moment for him into constantly pressuring our mice right here to force themselves to rotate and really push themselves towards the cheesesteak and the pushes too.
He's looking for the mice right now, who so far have not had much progress pushing in these wedges of cheese. He's just gonna bully Robin Hood Jerry here. Should be able to catch him very, very soon. On the chase right now.
Indeed, so they are already into the cabin area wherein Robin Hood Jerry was caught by our Tom right here. So off to the rocket chair he goes. But this is also a leeway for Magician Jerry to save Robin Hood Jerry.
And
Ooh.
Robin and Jerry is doing a good job here of buying a lot of time for his teammates, but now he is very much in trouble. Gonna get dispatched very, very soon. It's only 3 minutes into the dispatch phase.
Yeah.
And Bell has already gotten 2 of the mice here, only needs 1 more to win.
Indeed. So right now we are seeing that he is able to get Magician Cheese right here. So they need 3 more cheese before they could actually go for the escape phase. But he was able to save the Magician Jerry there. But since Magician Jerry was already seated on the rocket chair, it's highly unlikely that he is going to be the priority of Bell here.
Yeah, things are not looking good right now, Zaya,
Yeah.
for the mice. Because Bell is just bullying them over and over here, looking to start out strong here in game 1. And he's already caught one of the mice. I think this might be game over for PIU Clan's mouse face.
Oh, still having some struggles right there, but he successfully detained our detective Jerry onto that rocket chair, and time is ticking. We just need to wait for Magician Jerry to fly off the rocket chair, and this is a complete dispatch for Bell. So very nice job.
Yeah, really, really quick dispatch round there for behind and their cat player Bell, but looking back, I feel like it's the fact that he was able to take out King Jerry very early on here. We were talking about how great King Jerry's abilities are for rescuing his teammates. So if you're the type of player, wants to play that style, maybe pick up King Jerry for yourself. But the fact that Bell was able to take out that King Jerry very early on really hindered the mice here, and they weren't actually able to push in any of the wedges of cheese. Really crucial stuff there. Pretty one-sided around as well. Let's see whether or not that will be the case once we do swap sides and put PIU Clan on the cats.
Indeed. So right now, like what you said, they will be going into the second half switcheroo phases this time. Team behind is going to be into our mice side, whilst the PIU Clan will be the cat side this time. So both of our teams really showed prowess in actually using both the cat and mouse during yesterday's matches. So now we get to see who gets to be the better cat or the better mouse for this time around. Because so far, in terms of the cat, team behind was able to actually lead by a whopping 6 points right there, really dispatching a lot. Actually, all of the mice right there. So
yeah, and again, these are the two teams yesterday that started off with victories on their cat rounds. Earlier on in a tournament, a lot of the teams were struggling and winning their cat rounds. A lot of mice were escaping. So it will be a very interesting thing to see how each cat player fares against each other.
So yeah, without that being said, I think later on we will be heading on to our picking phase this time. This is also where the picking stage, especially for the mice too, and the cat has some factors in it, because both of the teams really show prowess in terms of skills and how they are able to play around the map. But the thing is, it's just a matter of who gets to be caught first, or who gets to be doing some mind games there. Would it be the mice or the cat? So it completely varies. But another thing that they should consider is of course the rosters of for the side of the mouse, the mice, even, because as witnessed during game number 1, King Jerry was not able to move as freely as much, since Tomcat was able to capture him in the very early minutes of our game.
Yeah, I agree, of course. Unfortunately, we weren't able to see as much of it, but you were talking about the importance of what mice you are going to bring here to try and escape. And it seems like we are going to be seeing pretty much a lot of the same things here. Detective Jerry, Magician as well, Classic Tom, so Classic Jerry. And of course, the King Jerry can be swapped out for the Mouseketeer Tuffy here, say one of the mice that is really good when it comes to saving his teammates.
Agreed, because with his helmet, it kind of adds up, you know, him being a tanky rescuer here for the side of the mice. So if he really utilized well, they could, you know, really do some good plays there. So we are gonna deal with another classic Tom, which is quite understandable because his kit kind of like complements the, you know, to counter out the mice that we have right now. So without being said, we are already here into our patrolling phase, and that was a very early mouse trap onto that mouse hole.
Yeah, wants just to cover all of the spaces here, and really nice mousetrap as well, knowing that there's a wedge of cheese very, very close to that area. Let's see how behind decides to play this one.
Go on.
So far they haven't sent out, you know, most of their mice robots here. They're still waiting on the final one. As Tom just gonna make his way to the top of the ship.
So right now onto the top side of our ship, and I think he's making his way down below with the other mice are just really scouting the other areas here onto the cabin and the boiling room. So he was turned invisible right now. So with this, the dispatch phase is going to begin now.
And a lot of the cat players that we see start off these rounds invisible, want to catch the mice off guard, and he is gonna spot out Mouseketeer Tuffy here.
Oof.
But unfortunately, he is gonna get hit by the dynamite while invisible. Just gonna delay Miji a bit.
Okay, that is for another third hit for him. This kind of forces him to drink some milk to regain his HP, but you know that ample amount of time is giving the other mice the position to actually place the cheese into the respective mouse hole.
Seems like behind are working very quickly here as well, really making use of the bunny that the magician Jerry can summon to help them push in these wedges of cheese, as seems like Miji wants to make a play here onto magician. Still invisible, by the way, finally gonna be able to find that catch. Should tie him up here onto a rocket very shortly.
Yeah, and also in a nearby cheese to food, so helmet is going to be activated here. Will rescue magician Jerry, and off to the stairs they go down into the cabin area. But right now I think Tom is just playing with the maps right now, trying to confuse the mice to where he is initially, who is he going to catch right here. But they are going to be dispersed right now, and Detective Jerry is really on his way into pushing that cheese into the deck side.
Second wedge of cheese here for behind. A lot of their wedges are already in position here just to be pushed down, but Miji gonna be able to find, I believe, classic Jerry. He's running for the hills here, finally gets caught.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, this is the classic Jerry right now. Ooh, but was saved the day by Mouseketeer Tuffy. So again, back onto the chase we go. Jerry is injured, but however, I think this is a very good job for the other mice to just keep on pushing on the cheese there. The bunny, though, I think is a big factor too. Especially that magician Jerry can summon him and just go for some pushes of the cheese. But oh, Mouseketeer is able to actually deny you know, Miji from actually going into that area.
The mice right now doing a great job of hindering Tom, and his work again gets frozen by that ice cube. The mice now already have 3 wedges of cheese pushed in, only need 2 more. One of the bunnies is working on one end. Magician carrying one of the wedges, possibly to another hole. So mice right now very, very close to winning.
Alright, so Mouse Couture Tuffy was whacked on there for that catch, and I think he's going into the cabin area a little bit farther from the rest of the group. Understandable, since he would like to use that time to get as many mouse as possible. So now Magician Jerry might be on his way to go for the rescue.
Let's see, he is making his way towards that area. Mice right now in no rush to actually get the final wedge of cheese in. They want to make sure that everyone on this team is able to escape. They're making use of the invisibility from Detective Jerry right now to get to that rescue, and they will successfully do so. But at what cost? Once again, Miji finds another one of these mice, and they find a
Again,
rescue.
with 20 seconds on the clock right here, I think they are really going for that save. There's so much commitment that is going on, but finally went into the favor of our mice right there, as they are able to stun down Tom right here. So the crack is located onto the deck area. So Magician already on his way into breaking the crack right there, and I like it how committed Miji is here to actually capture Tuffy. But this kind of gives them the advantage as well for the mice to open the crack and get the game for themselves.
Yeah, really nicely done there from behind. It looks like they will be winning on both sides for game one. They are gonna win on the cat, win on the mice as well. Really nice escape there at the end. Unfortunately, not all of them were able to get out. Mouse Kitty or Tuffy acting as that sacrifice in order to buy his team some time there to break open the crack. But again, behind, starting off this best of three strong, winning game one.
Truly, and of course the stats speaks for themselves. Magician Jerry doing all the cheese contributions there as well, and of course Tuffy really doing some work in terms of kiting and keeping Miji distracted, so that the other mouse are able to move around freely. And of course, with that was a very dominating first game for Team Behind here, gathering up some 8 points. Really perfect for their name too. So let's see on how our game number 2 acts up right now.
Yeah, and if game one is any indication of how game 2 will possibly go, I feel like it could be a very quick 2-0 here for Behind, unless PU Clan is able to adapt, able to adjust to Behind for game 2. And again, it feels like they were struggling on the mouse side to get anything going, because Bell from Behind just really good at playing that cat. But right now they will be swapping over. I believe it will be PU Clan starting off as the mice once more.
Truly, and now later on we'll be proceeding to the second round, first half of our game. So let's see if Team Behind is able to really keep their gap here and eventually win the round, or will Team PIU Clan would just take some points on their own and really turn the tables around.
Yeah, and it's only game 1 so far, Say. We still have a potentially long night ahead of us, as we will be continuing the lower bracket. Some of the teams, unfortunately, will be out of top clans tonight. And, as much as possible, you want to stay at that upper bracket. You want to continue your run there.
So in a while, we will be heading on to the picking phase here. So I'm pretty sure that we're going to see some the usual picks for both cat and mouse side. So yeah, like as I mentioned earlier, it's just really about how they execute it well. And you have to take note that this game is also momentum paced. So the momentum that either of the team kind of dictates here has the upper hand, and eventually win the round.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned momentum, because for Behind, the way that they started that really just carried over to their mouse round. And right now we are going to be hopping into the picking phase. The map will be Classic House. We're gonna go away from the cruise ship for now.
And go back to your house.
just go home for now. But no real change-ups here in terms of what has been picked. Magician and Detective pretty much standard for any mouse team. But very surprising here to see the Pirate Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, usually you would want to choose a more mobile mouse. It could be like a Robin Hood Jerry, and of course, to really complement. Sometimes Classic Jerry is used, but Pirate Jerry pretty interesting because he also does inflict damage onto the cat. It's just a matter of when and how he is going to do it. So he has to consider that factor because sometimes during our previous games, during yesterday's matches, Pirate Jerry wasn't really effective as much. The same thing with the Musketeer Jerry. So, let's find that out and see if this Pirate Jerry this time is going to be used into goodness for these mice. So right now we are heading into the patrolling phase.
Yeah, of course. You were talking about Pirate Jerry earlier, and he does bring something else to the table. Doesn't necessarily bring the mobility that we normally see from, let's say, Robin Hood Jerry. He does have some decent damage to the cat, and he can also sabotage some of the rockets with his abilities. So could hinder the cat here from dispatching some of the mice.
So yeah, right now again utilizing the robot mouse right here to just really scout our house, and I think mouse traps here though really essential for DTG here, following the classic strategy. Of course, you would like to get yourself notified onto where the other mice are located. So right now he isn't really aiming for the robot mice right here. Rather, he's just really securing the other mouse holes in any attempts for some cheese pushes.
And interesting here, DTG isn't actually gonna try and go invisible here to try and catch out some of these mice who are fairly grouped up right now. Does spot out King Jerry, which would be a very important mouse to dispatch. He is one of those that are very proficient in terms of saving, but looks like he is gonna be the one that needs some saving right now. As Tom making his way to one of these rockets, is going up the stairs all the way to the attic.
Alright, of course, you would really like to seclude your captured mouse in an area wherein the other mice would need some time to save you. But okay, so King Jerry was able to escape, but you know what? Okay, I will really push you further in to our map right here, deeper in the attic. But you know what? Detective Jerry here, if ever he chooses to actually go for the save, he may go into the patio area over here, but I like it how DTG is actually camping King Jerry over here so that at least he get a sure dispatch.
Yeah, it seems like Detective Jerry is on the case, but he's running a bit late right now. Alright, they're making their way through 23 seconds until King Jerry is dispatched here. Let's see what the mice can do. They are gonna make their way to the attic.
And yeah, right now they have. Ooh, he was able to get. If I'm not mistaken, that's Pirate Jerry right here. So a little bit of a trade that is going to happen over there. So was whacked by the female master right here. So, and of course, really taking advantage of that, was able to capture Detective Jerry this time around. Went into the vents onto the from patio, and get another trade and actually really containing our Detective Jerry here. So another mouse trap in the long run, and of course with that he was able to dispatch Pirate Jerry, capture Detective Jerry, and actually placed King Jerry as well in the rocket chair. So it's going to be PIU Lori versus Tom here at this point. So wow.
Yeah, pretty unfortunate there that the mice weren't really able to save their comrades right now. Most of them are injured here, so it should be easy pickings for Tom. Just need to tie them up to the rocket. It's gonna make a rotation here back to the attic and back outside again. Very interesting movement right now coming out from Tom, but he should be able to dispatch another one of these mice very, very shortly.
So yeah, right now we are seeing that he is in the patio area, transitioning himself into the attic once again. So again, capturing Pirate Jerry here, and you know what? I think he's not going for that chair immediately, but kind of focused on Detective Jerry for now for another, I guess, a secure dispatch.
Yeah, should be able to get this one as well. And the cat players from behind right now really, really carrying momentum for their team, starting them out strong. He is going to be able to find that second dispatch now. It's going to be very, very difficult for the mice if they want to try to escape here. They've only pushed in 2 wedges of cheese. And with limited time to do so, I feel like Tom will be able to dispatch a couple more mice here. Let's see, he is working his way here, trying to find another target for him.
Onto the bedroom area we go right now. So he was notified that the mice was able to, place the cheese into the mouse hole, but not fully push it yet. So just really throwing some items here in hopes to actually get the mice in the area. But he is going to quickly transition himself from the dining area to the living room. So, Bruce was able to capture him, though. That kind of gives him a stunned cat, and this gives the opportunity for the other Jerrys to go for the cheese push.
Yeah, let's see, will that buy enough time though, Zaya? Because they still have 3 wedges of cheese to go before they're actually able to try and escape. And being down 2 mice already with 4 minutes left, it will be quite difficult for King and Magician right now.
Of course, there are a lot of factors that they have to consider here. Number one is to really put or place the cheese as fast as they can. And number two, try not to get caught with Tom onto the long run. So, all right, he is onto the tails of King Jerry right now, and okay, this is interesting. Just really playing around the area, so just using the items as well to contribute in slowing him down.
Yeah, and remember, King Jerry isn't one of those mobile mice as he gets caught. And this should mean that DTG will be able to dispatch a 3rd mouse unless Magician can somehow pull off a pretty nice save here. Does have 40 seconds.
40 seconds on the clock, and I like it how Tom positions himself into the area where the Magician is at. So I think he just really basically needs to camp, King Jerry there. And right, with less than 20 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, on the clock right there to fully dispatch King Jerry. And now just looking at that, making his way onto the stairs, but not trying to actually further up his gap onto King Jerry, who is seated down. So of course the priority here is going to be King Jerry, since he was the one who was, rocket the chair twice, or maybe thrice this time. So this is the last hope to actually save him, and unfortunately he was able to rescue, but it still did not make it. And with that being said, DTG was able to secure 3 mice up on his sleeves. So this is a dominating fight for Team Behind.
Yeah, Behind really dominating on both of their cat rounds so far today. 2-0 so far, and man, it has been very difficult for PU Clan to actually try and get these wedges of cheese in. Unfortunately for them, one of their mice players just gets caught out very, very early by the cat. And the moment that one of you go down, it's very difficult for the rest of your team to actually try and push the wedges of cheese in. Late into the round, maybe once you've pushed 2 or 3 wedges of cheese, it's still possible for you to escape. But there again, DTG from behind, just dispatching all of the mice and giving them a good start here for game 2.
Indeed. So we are going to proceed on to the second half of our game. So I think a team behind just needs to escape at least 2 more mice. And then I think this is going to be a 2-0 for them. So conditions for PIU clan, they have to basically dispatch all of the mice for them to actually force a game number 3 here.
Yeah, they need to get rid of all of the mice who are trying to escape if they want to force that game 3. But again, just from the start, you were talking about how momentum is very important in this competition. And the way that Behind have been starting out, it seems like they want to keep their spot in the upper bracket and knock down PU Clan. So it's up to the Cat now for PU Clan. If they want to force that game 3, it's up to him to dispatch everyone from behind.
So yeah, in a moment we will be proceeding to our picking phase. But yeah, in terms of PIU clan here, we did witness how they used the mice earlier, and it didn't really go into their favor. So I think they need some adjustments in terms of how they would position themselves, because if you notice during that first half when they were the ones who are in the mice side, they were really grouped together, so that kind of gave Tom or team behind to really utilize that and just get them one by one with all of those trades and with all of that simultaneous capture of the mice right there. So yeah.
And you were talking about how once he's tied one of the mice to the rocket, he actually kind of uses that as bait and tries to draw their teammates in and then possibly injure one of the mice. And it's a big domino effect for the Cats if they are able to prevent the rest of the mice from getting that rescue. But now we see here the picks pretty much standard again for behind. Running the detective, running the magician, really some very strong characters here in Tom and Jerry Chase. Making use of those summons on the rabbits, making use of that invisibility. And things are looking good now for behind. So really the challenge now is up to PU Clan and whether or not they can get these dispatches in time.
True. And yeah. And later on we'll get to see if PIU Clan can really dispatch this mice this time, try to go for a potential comeback. But yeah, let's head on to our round 2 second half here between Team Behind and Team PIU Clan, currently into our patrolling phase here.
Very important right now for both sides to gather that information, for the Cat for set up as many traps as we can possibly go for. Remember, we are putting all our eyes on Miji right now, because if he wants to give his team some more life here in the upper bracket, it's gonna be up to him to get that dispatch.
So yeah, right now we are going to see that Miji is still doing the fundamental strategies, which is him just trying to secure the mouse holes with those traps and just finding the locations of the cheese, getting some concoctions to actually buff him up, and materials too that he may utilize for a later date.
A mouse is on site.
Yeah, we are gonna start off here with the dispatch phase, Seiya, and I'm looking at what Miji can possibly do here if he wants to get those early dispatches. It's gonna be very difficult considering that there is that Musketeer Tuffy who slaps the helmet on. Very easy for him to rescue his teammates. But let's see, he is invisible right now. He's gonna be hunting for some mice here.
But of course, first getting some concoctions up on his sleeve. So right now they are going to work with that cheese near the dining area, and I think he is also nearby. So all he has to do is just really go into their area, and they were able to push one cheese right now. So the canary is going. Luckily, he is invincible because if not, that canary would have dropped that bowling ball onto Tom.
Luckily enough for Tom there, they are going to be able to spot him out now from his invisibility. They are tossing a couple of golf balls up here at Tom, trying to hurt him as much as possible.
Which is
Now
understandable since, yeah.
He's really not wasting any time to get to these mice.
Yeah, but at the same time, I like it how Classic Jerry is just really kiting time away from Tom to actually go get the other mice. Because, you know, look at the other mice not really wasting their time. Look at the side of our screens right here. You know, he's just really putting all the work while Jerry here is just doing his job as a kiter for their team here.
As Tom once again just gonna put that mouse pad, but we were talking about what the other mice were doing while one of them were being chased down, and really they're not wasting any precious seconds here to try and get those wedges of cheese in.
Indeed. So, you know, this time it's gonna be Mouseketeer Tuffy doing all the kiting here and distracting Miji. And, you know, this is not really looking good for Tom here, because look at that. The Classic Jerry was able to cancel out, you know, from Tuffy getting seated down onto the rocket chair and was frozen to boot.
Well, look at that. 2 wedges of cheese through, and it's actually Mouseketeer Tuffy who is doing the kiting right now, and is unfortunately not doing that great of a job as he is currently caught right now by Tom.
Yeah,
Look at the
but
amount of cheese being pushed in, right?
True, and he has to take note of his health as well, because if his health depleted, it's going to stun him for an ample amount of time. And look at that, consecutive cheese pushes really through and through, and you have to take note, Cheese, so we're still down to like less than 3 minutes of our time, so this is looking pretty well for team behind here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that is gonna blow up, but Tom seems to be unscathed by it. The mice only 1 wedge of cheese away from triggering the escape phase here, but of course Tom was able to pick off a crucial member of them, able to dispatch Mouseketeer Tuffy. Now it's up to him to try and injure the mice right now before the escape phase happens.
Yeah, and I don't know, but I think Tom is having a little bit of a hard time here in actually, you know, getting all these mice, and you have to take into account as well. Ooh, but Dome here, on the flip side, was, you know, was hit actually by Tom with his pan. So I think his best bet is actually, you know, just kite his way around here, the bedroom area. And they were able, he was able to dispatch 1 mouse though, but it has to consider as well the other mice who are in the area.
Yeah, need to be careful of that buffed up Jerry. Seems to want to have a piece of him right now. Not really thinking about kiting, just thinking of having a go at Tom at the moment, who is getting hit consistently here by the mice, who have now a chance to escape. Remember, it's up to the members, it's up to Miji right now if he wants to force that game through. He needs to prevent these mice from escaping. But so far, the mice doing a great job right now, Seiya, of he just kiting around and playing with his cat right now.
But yeah, off to Miji here getting Classic Jerry, and very best bet to go is the furthest area, which is the patio. So he quickly pipes himself onto the attic, which is a good call back there. But you know what? The other mice was able to go for the escape. And yeah, as mentioned, again, this is going to be a win for team behind.
Yeah, behind there, able to escape despite not all of the mice being able to escape through the cracks. Still, they will pick up the victory here, and with that, I think this should be the 2-0 for our game 1 behind. Gonna move forward here in our upper bracket, while PIU Clan will be waiting for their opponent down there in the lower bracket, as unfortunately for them, they will be needing that cushion here, waiting for their next opponent. But congratulations, two behind. Pretty dominating run here so far in Group A. Um, on both sides, really, their cat rounds look good, their mouse rounds look very, very good. They are able to escape consistently, and they haven't dropped a single game here so far.
Indeed. So that also means that they were able to secure their spot into our upper brackets right here. So team behind is just really going to, wait for the other groups, to really, find out who will be the victor for the respective groups and just, battle it out. But that would be on a further date, because right now we are going to determine who is going to win against the two players who were into the lower bracket, specifically Team Joyful and RMF. And you have to take note that if one of them loses here, it's going to be they will be eliminated for this round. So whoever wins this next match that we have is going to battle Team PIU Clan onto our third match later on.
Yeah, and it's again a very, very long tournament still. It's only Group A. We still have a couple more groups to go through before we figure out who is going to take the rest of the prize pool. And now some of the teams seeing this lower bracket, it means that a lot more of their matches will be very crucial for each of them, as some of them may want to, not go home just yet and still keep their tournament run alive.
Yep, and yeah, with that being said, we are going to head on to our battle between Team Joyful and Team RNF. So unfortunately, they were the ones who lost during yesterday's matches. So this is going to be their last shot in actually having a spot for themselves, at least for the lower bracket at least. So yeah, later on we'll just really proceed to the picking phase in a while.
Yeah, and I think these two upcoming teams will be a bit more closely matched compared to what we just saw from Behind, because Behind have been dominating a lot of their matches. So these other teams who are competing, we did see them play yesterday, and a lot more of their matches were actually close. Starting off the best of three with some draws and really making their way all the way up until that third game to decide who did move on. So a lot of close games across both of these up and competing teams.
True. And yeah, as you mentioned, really close during yesterday's matches, but this time around during our first match, it was pretty dominating here. And you have to take note that was for both Cat and Mouse, and also during the first and second round of that match. So you have to really consider the threat levels of Team Behind really inflicting against the team or the opponent teams.
Yeah, the other groups as well might possibly be already watching how they decide to play, the play style of their Cat, maybe scout out some of their future opponents. But something just to look out for the other groups. Remember, it's only Group A Cat's playing today. We're yet to hash out the rest of the other groups, and we're yet to see just the level of competition that the other ones will bring. So very early on in the tournament, I am just excited to see how the rest of this one goes for all 16 teams competing.
True, but you know what, guys? Don't miss out all on the fun. You too can really experience this game by downloading it onto your phones, which is available both on the App Store and Google Play. And guys, do not fret as well, because in this live stream we are giving some codes away for some freebies into the game. All you have to do is just follow the simple rules into the pinned comments, which is indicated there. So yeah, all you have to do is firstly download the game, second go on to the website, claim the CDK or the code, and of course when you log into the game, that's it, you have your rewards. So of course, with that being said, Chiso, the MVP of the game, is going to be Belle, completely dispatching the 4 mice earlier into our previous match with that average score of 3,933. 12 times he was able to hit them, 8 times that they tied them into the rocket chair, and as mentioned, he had a complete wipeout of that night.
Yeah, he really did start things off on the strong side here, 4 behind, and just carried the momentum for his team. He started it out strong for them, and it was really up to the rest of them to perform and end that and continue their run here in Top Clans. But yeah, well-deserved MVP there coming from Bell.
True. And yeah, I think later on we will be seeing the highlights soon of this matches. But you know what, guys? Again, this is a call out to other than the codes that we are giving away. We also have this lucky draw wherein all you have to do is just predict which team is going to be the victory here. And of course, this is the instructions right now. But you know, guys, before we head on to our second match, we will be heading on to a quick break. Again, we were your commentators for today's match. My name's Sayora, and with me is Chisto. Don't go away.
And welcome back, guys, to the Top Clans 2020 Tom and Jerry Chase SEA Invitational. We're going to be your commentators for this one. My name is Chisto. Alongside me is Seiya. And we're heading into game 2.
Yeah, just quick on a jiffy right there. And, I just, initially thought that we would be, having some more games this time. But man, a team behind from the previous match earlier just really, had their foot down and, just really dominated both phases of each match. So I wonder if for this specific matchup we'll be having for tonight, will that trend be similar to either of our teams, or the fight may be a bit of intense as they might force game 3 for each of our matches for them.
Yeah, and of course, for you guys who are just tuning into the stream right now, we did say it is already game 2. Just a quick recap of what happened earlier. We did have some upper bracket action between PU Clan and Behind, where PU Clan unfortunately did drop over to our lower bracket, and now we are going to be seeing a matchup between Team RMF and what's the other? Royal, I believe.
Joyful.
But
Joyful.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they are gonna be facing off here in our lower bracket. Unfortunately, yesterday they did drop down here, and unfortunately for one of them will be going home.
So this is going to be an all-out intense, chase literally for both sides of our teams. They have to really work their way out, trying to, tweak some strategies that were not effective during their yesterday's matches, and, kind of use any miscommunications from the other end into a favorable one to the opposing team. So later on, we get to witness that. But yeah, as usual, I think they will be sticking to the picks that are currently strong right now for them, because they don't really want to experiment with some of the characters right here, since they don't really have that cushion anymore to actually save themselves from, getting that spot.
Yeah, and you are talking about the different characters that they can bring to the table. We have seen pretty much the same lineup for most of the mice. As here's the team overview, guys. We get to see what characters they actually like bringing here into the competition. A lot of Detective Jerrys, a lot of classic Jerrys as well for their mouse players, but pretty much standard here for the cat.
Yeah, the first 3, which is going to be Tom, Butch, and Topsy right here for Team Joyful. So yeah, let's see. They are really clinging onto some of the utility mice right there as well. But for the side of RMF, it's going to be Topsy, Lightning, and the classic Tom. And yeah, as mentioned earlier, they are still sticking to the fundamentals, if not the original Jerry. It kind of rotates around Mouseketeer, Tuffy, Detective Jerry, and the likes. So I think the others are a situational pick, depending on, of course, they have to consider as well the area that they will be, going in to our game. So the map as well, because it kind of really depends as well on how broad the map is, into which you can really utilize all of the skill sets that your mice or our respective mouse have to offer.
And speaking of the mice, we keep talking about it, how important it is to really have both Detective and Magician to your team. I think the abilities that they do bring to the table, the invisibility from Detective and his ability to just make some nice saves and try and annoy the cat as well with his smoke bombs. And of course, we have to mention the summoning abilities of the Magician. The bunny is really helping them push in a lot of these wedges of cheese, but it seems like yeah, we won't be getting Magician for this one. We are gonna be getting both Mouseketeers instead.
So, and of course, a classic Jerry and Detective Jerry to boot. But it is we've been we've been witnessing some Mouseketeer Jerrys not really effective onto the board right here. especially for yesterday's matches. So I think this specific pick is more entirely going in a direction where it's more of a comfortable pick at this point. So let's see if this time around they are able to work with this Musketeer Jerry, or will the trend repeat itself again from yesterday's match that wasn't really used into its maximum efficiency?
Yeah, unfortunately for most of the teams that did run with the Musketeer Jerry, they weren't able to escape. A lot of the times they were dispatched by the Cat, who will be a Tom for this round. And a lot of the Tom players that we see here in top clans, they tend to start the round with this invisibility and just try to catch one of the mice off guard once we head over to dispatch. So it seems like that is exactly what he is gonna do here.
And yeah, still under the patrolling phase, however, is that I think it's just really a matter of patience for the side of the mice, just locating and scouting the different areas of our map. Whilst Tom right here, I think is just gonna look for some concoctions. Ooh, but actually gets one robot mouse while he's actually, looking for some, concoctions there, or some potions that he could actually intake.
Yeah. So let's see now how the mice will decide to play this one heading into the dispatch phase. Again, guys, this is the lower bracket. So for one of these teams, unfortunately, their run here at the tournament will be over. Let's see who gets to grab momentum first, as we'll be heading over to the dispatch phase. Mice are aware that the Cat is invisible.
Of course, they are notified right there, but all of the mice are actually huddled up together into the area above the utility room. So this is pretty interesting. And this is, if I'm not mistaken, what room is this specifically? But you know what? Tom is heading onto the patio instead. Let's see if he is able to catch in. And of course, the first one on his target list is the Musketeer Jerry.
Oh no, very unlucky there. And of course, it's very important for Tom to really get that first hit onto the mice, as one of his abilities will allow him to gain a temporary speed boost after hitting one of the mice. And it's gonna allow him here from time to time to the rocket, but again, we see the strength there of Musketeer Tuffy. He is able to rescue his teammate after slapping on that helmet. Now,
And so
Jerry
far,
gonna
yeah.
try his best to kite.
Ooh, but if you look at that closely, he was able to get hit by Spike's bone right there, stunning him for a short duration. So right now, things are looking good for Tom here. Was able to get the Musketeer Jerry, but was actually rolled down by the plattery here onto the dining area. So this kind of gives Musketeer Jerry to struggle and break free from Tom.
But yeah, does allow him some time to get away here. He does get hit by the frying pan though, already blinded and caught here by Tom. Gonna look for a rocket to tie him into. The other mice are in the vicinity though. They have about 20 seconds to try and make this safe, as there you go. Musketeer Tuffy once again puts the helmet on, head down, charges straight for that rescue.
Yeah, take note, however, that they are, with all that fiasco that happened earlier, they were only to get one more cheese. But you know what? Cheese in the area is, near. So I think Detective Jerry is on his way to actually look for some mouse holes and, just instantly push those cheese while the others are busy in kiting out Tom.
Yeah. Gonna go through the vent here. So far, the mice already having some progress in terms of pushing the cheese in. Does have that one wedge into the hole.
Yeah.
And I like the position here for the mice. Some of them are stacked near each other just in case one of them gets caught. The other can pretty much go for a rescue here, as look here, Detective Jerry all the way down in the utility room, but oh no.
Alright, so a lot of action has been happening here for the side of Tom. But again, the other mice pushing some cheese has a little bit of a slow progress here. So if this can't really keep going on and on into our game, because if that happens, it's gonna give Tom some allowance to, you know, really take all those mice. And with the XP that he's been gaining to and fro, it means that he has a lot of skill sets that he could really use to his advantage.
Exactly. Now, Musketeer Jerry will get hit while invisible here by Tom. Not gonna continue chasing that down though. He is gonna try and go for something here. Did bring out the microphone and hit. Which one is this? This is Classic Jerry actually, who has 8 seconds left before he gets flown off on a rocket.
Oh, make it 13 seconds on the clock right there, Cheese. The other mice are really trying their best to actually rescue out the Classic Jerry right here. So they are still able to save him in time. But you have to take note, again, the Cheese pushes a little bit slow onto that progress. And this time around, Tom was able to capture once again the Classic Jerry, utilizing his shields through and through, and to finally put him in a rocket chair and dispatch one mouse from the pack.
Yeah, good dispatch there coming from Tom. Of course, the mice still have a bunch of time to work with here. Still about 4 minutes left here for our dispatch phase. They already have pushed in 3 wedges of cheese, but they're gonna need to start thinking about rescuing Mouseketeer Tuffy here, who has been caught by Tom.
And yeah, so he kind of places Mouseketeer Tuffy in a very convenient place, wherein Waffles, if you look closely, is having a bit of a challenge in reaching that area.
Yeah, he's struggling to get up there. You know, those things just blocking the path. Let's see, because Tom is currently camping the rocket right now. He really wants to defend this spot. Doesn't want to allow the other mice to rescue Mouseketeer Tuffy here. He just wants to commit maybe and dispatch one of the mice before the escape phase.
So again, this is an attempt, was able to stun down Tom here and finally goes for the rescue. So I think he is the one trapped on there for a moment. And yeah, again, still the priority is on to Mouseketeer Tuffy. So Tuffy has to do with all his might kite his way away from Tom. Okay, that was a very nice jump, but you know, he was whacked down by that fly. What do you call it? That fly swapper? And you know, just basically go back into that terrain wherein the other mice had difficulty in saving him.
Yeah, but you see here, Mouseketeer Jerry already in the spot. He will get grabbed though. Very unfortunate here for them while they're trying to save Mouseketeer Tuffy. And this will be a very, very difficult spot now for the mice if Mouseketeer Tuffy is gonna get dispatched.
Okay, so Mouseketeer Tuffy was dispatched this time. So again, they still need one more cheese to push into before getting into the escape phase right now. So really trying to make things work here. And you have to take note that Jerry, or the Mouseketeer Jerry here, is also with a low brink of health. So if he is dispatched here, this is going to be in favorable hands for Tom.
Yeah, this is so unfortunate for the mice right now, Saya, because they're so close to getting to the escape phase. Only need to push in one final wedge of cheese. But with Tom catching them, oh, he gets out.
Oh, he was able to struggle through, but again, he got swatted by Tom here once more. But you know, that kind of gave time for Detective Jerry to actually go for that push. So this is a bit of a challenge for him because, you know, Jerry here, Musketeer Jerry was tied onto the chair with only 9 seconds remaining on the clock. So unfortunately, with that turn of events, it is going to be into the side of the cat, Team Joyful rather, who is going to win that first half of our second match.
Yeah, it's a very, very close first game. For first half, I should say, for these teams, it was 4 wedges of cheese in already, but fortunately enough for Joyful, they were able to get that second dispatch in, and it just made things extra difficult here. For RMF, they weren't able to escape, unfortunately, even if they were able to get to that phase, not able to break the door, not able to rescue their teammate. So yeah, great cat round here for Joyful, and if this is any indication of how the mouse round will go for them, they should be able to carry over this momentum that they are starting off with.
Yeah, because basically, you have this kind of initial impression wherein it's much easier to gather up some points when you are on the mice side. So, Joyful should be able to take advantage of this, because onto our second phase, they are the ones who is going to be into the mice area. So this is an additional challenge for Team RMF, since they are the ones playing onto the cat side this time.
Yeah, very important cat round here for RMF. They don't want to go down 1-0 here in the best of 3. As we did say earlier, we are already playing in that lower bracket, so loser here will end their tournament run, and the winner will move forward later on tonight to face off against PU Clan, who should be, watching this game, maybe scouting out what characters these ones want to bring out, and just, try and get some information in terms of what playstyle Joyful might be bringing, just in case they are the one they will be facing off against later on tonight.
So yeah, in a bit we will be heading onto the picking phase this time. So I'm still expecting some, fundamental pickings for both the mice and the cat. And so far, all throughout the duration of our day-to-day, it's still really the classic Tom, who is, really hovered by our cat side. So pretty interesting if they are able to dish out a different cat for this evening.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned the classic Tom, because a lot of the cat players have been sticking with him. He's been very consistent with catching these mice. Not quite the same as the show, Jerry always kind of gets away in the show, but here Tom has been doing a great job of flying them off away on rockets. And yeah, Tom just making full use of his abilities very, very nicely as well. Whenever you are able to, get one of the mice onto a rocket, you're able to use them sort of as bait and wait for the other team member to try and go for that rescue. And if they mess up that rescue, you are able to consistently and continuously get these grabs onto them, and really just keep tying them over and over into rockets, and you just start tilting things towards your favor.
True, but yeah, as mentioned, as always, it still depends on to the execution of both our teams. So, I think the continuous cat trend here is, looking so good for either of our teams. But let's see, though, if the mice has some, redeeming qualities for our next match. Because, I don't know, I'm pretty excited to see how this would turn out. Because since both of our teams were into the lower brackets, so the hunger to actually secure their spot right there should be evident at this point.
Yeah, lower bracket, especially for the rest of the night, means that things will be a lot more crucial for everyone who is competing right now. And I think for the teams right now, just talking real quick about the form, for the teams sitting in the upper bracket, I'm sure they are sitting pretty comfortably up there, knowing that they aren't in threat of getting eliminated anytime soon. Not quite the case now for all the rest of the teams competing here tonight.
So yeah, in a bit we will be heading on to it, and yeah, to those who are currently watching the stream, guys, you too can experience the fun and action of this game. Just simply downloaded it, which is available on the App Store and Google Play. We are also heading on to some awesome prizes in store for you into the comment sections. All you have to do is basically follow the instructions there. Go onto the website, claim the code which is indicated into our games right here onto the lower right. And once you have exchanged that into the website, you go log into the game, and there you have it. Free goodies for everyone. And now we are headed onto the picking phase. This time we're going to see some lightning action alongside with a very nice composition for Team Joyful.
Yeah. First time tonight that we'll be seeing a different cat aside from Tom. Of course, Lightning does provide something different for the cats. A lot more, mobile compared to Tom. He is able to chase down these mice very, very effectively with his abilities as well. But yeah, looking at the lineup for the mice right now, it seems like it will be a very, very easy to play lineup with what they have. They have both detective and magician, and pretty much the standard Mouseketeer Tuffy.
True, and with that being said, Chisto, we are on to the patrolling phase for the mice right here into our round 1, second half of our second series for tonight.
Now, one of the things that's really nice here about Lightning as a cat, he does have the ability to lay down a bunch of traps here for the mice. Can lay down those trash cans, can get some fish out as well to try and hinder the mice's path here. So just a bunch of hazards here for the mice to keep track of, as we are already in the patrol phase. So it's gonna set up for both teams. Try and get as much information as possible here before we head on to dispatch.
True, and yeah, he's just simply lighting up those dynamites right here that may, potentially seek out some robot mice in the area with the remaining seconds on the clock. So, looking at the placements of our mice, one is in the kitchen and one in the patio area. So, with that, we are heading on to the dispatch phase here. So, for first line of objective for Side of Lightning is to dispatch 3 mice or more. And looking at his positions right now, from the dining room heading onto the stairs area to the bedroom, I think he was able to sight down some mouse over there in the vicinity.
And of course, right now for Lightning, if he is able to hit one of the mice, as we see right now, they will be marked, and he will be able to locate them on his minimap. So it will allow him to continuously chase one of these mice, as he's already grabbed Magician Jerry here, which is a very nice, mouse to grab. But he will be able to snag his way away there.
Was able to get fireworked by one of the mouse who were trying to actually save the magician from, really getting caught out by lightning. And going back here, the fast transitions from one area to another here for the mice is highly commendable here. Them into the patio, and it's nice, however, that Lightning is guarding up the cheese locations here, using the pipes to transfer himself into the attic, to the patio, and to the other areas of the map as well.
And with Lightning, spending a lot of time here just setting up with these traps, it is giving the rest of the mice ample time to start pushing in these wedges of cheese. He will spot out Tuffy here. Will try his best to make his way away here. Trying to kite away here in this corner.
Ooh, that was a very nice spar for Tuffy over here. And it's also nice because during the phases of our game, he was able to snag up some XP, hence the reason why he has a certain amount of skill sets here. He's actually level 4, and our Lightning is level 3 right here, so that is pretty good job for Tuffy. That's kind of like an added protection. But right now, they were able to consecutively push some cheese down, so that is going to be 3 more for the side of the mice.
is gonna be able to tie up a Robin Hood here on the rocket, but it did allow the other mice some time here to start pushing in some of the wedges of cheese. Take note, they already have two of them pushed through, so escape phase will be will arrive shortly for the mice right now. No
But
rescuers just yet.
okay, so Musketeer Tuffy is on his way to actually rescue Robin Hood Jerry over there. So again, it's back to Lightning really onto the chase. Oh, but his vision was actually blocked by some fogs right there. Uses his dash to teleport into the nearby mouse, but unfortunately, that was the bunny of the Magician Jerry. So this kind of gives them an ample amount of space to work with and try to kite Lightning as much as possible. But you know what? He is gonna dash away back into Robin Hood Jerry and ties him into the attic area.
And Robin Hood Jerry, even though he is one of the more mobile characters in this game, it's really difficult to get away from a cat like Lightning who can just dash straight at you. Doesn't matter if you can double jump, as long as he can grab you, you will be in big trouble. And speaking of trouble, two of the mice right now already in a pretty bad spot. One of them will be rescued, but Robin Hood Jerry not looking too great right now.
Okay, so it was a nice start for Lightning because he was able to capture two of the mice, but the quick response coming from the rescuers here is too surreal that they were able to free actually all of them. And now this kind of gave a good opportunity now for the mice to go into the escaping phase, really stunning down Lightning here. Low-Brinkefeld manages to get some bubble shields, and it is slightly in a good position for Lightning simply because the crack is in the attic area, so he kind of has some time to work with the areas here.
Let's see whether or not the mice can actually get through the crack right now. He does have a lot of objects here that he can toss at the mice as well. Mice though are down a member, so it will be a bit more difficult for them to get through this crack. Let's see. He's repairing the crack right now.
Really nice job actually, because it kind of like gives him an amount of time to chase the other mice in the area. So still he was able to dispatch Musketeer Tuffy though, and in the long run here they are trying their best to alternately kite Lightning and destroy the crack at the same time.
He has grabbed Robin Hood Jerry here. Gonna tie him up to the rocket. Does this give the other mice time though to hit at the crack and potentially make their escape? Great defense being played right now by Lightning. 2 minutes left, 2.5 minutes left here in the escape phase. You see there, he is getting rid of the fruit that the mice could use to break open that crack.
Right, so being out of the patio area to potentially lure out Lightning, but here we see that Lightning is just released unsteady here onto the cracked area, whilst the Magician transported himself into the patio, I think finding some HP regeneration potions there, and just look at that with only 2 minutes remaining before the mice is able to escape here, and this is really good defense for the side of the cat.
The mice are taking their sweet time here. They aren't really rushing in here, trying to be as patient as possible. The bubble, of course, adding that extra protection on the crack. Jerry, though, all powered up right now.
Really buffed up Jerry here is gonna be used to completely destroy the crack right here, and Lightning focuses still onto the Magician Jerry, but this is gonna give some time for the others to go for the escape. Okay, Magician Jerry is tied down, so let's see if they will be opting for that 3-man escape. But you know what, kind of go for some safe haven right there and just decide to go for a 2-mouse escape.
Yeah, I like the decision there from Joyful to just go for the escape there. 3 of the mice will survive in the end. Only Musketeer Tuffy not able to get away from Lightning. But yeah, very, very close stuff there between these two teams. And I actually think that Lightning here from RMF was playing some excellent defense there on the crack, but it looks like game one will be going over to Joyful here with victories on both of their rounds.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, let's see though if Team RMF is able to knock themselves back up actually onto our game, with Team Joyful gathering up some 6 points up on their sleeve. So winning conditions for Team Joyful here is again to do the similar trend that we have here for our first round in our second series, which is to do pretty well in terms of the cat side and mouse side. The winning conditions for RMF, however, is going to be them really dispatching and gathering a lot of points that is really needed to actually tie things up.
Yeah. And for all of our viewers right now, we will be heading into game 2 very, very shortly. Of course, it is currently match point now. For Joyful, they only need to win one more round to send RMF packing here in the tournament. And for RMF, tournament lives on the line right now. They need to pull something out if they want to continue their run here at Top Clans.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, like what you said, and of course to those who are watching here, guys, do not fret, because you are also given the chance to witness the action and experience it as well, because this game is available once more into our App Store and Google Play. All you have to do is just download it and you can win some freebies here, guys. Just follow the instructions that is indicated onto the comment section. Go onto the website, exchange the code, which is usually seen on the lower side of the screen whenever we are in game. So once you have exchanged that into the website, go on and log into the game, and lots of freebies are in store for you. And yeah, just wait a minute, hold your horses there, guys, for some more Tom and Jerry action will be given to you momentarily.
Yeah, we're just about to hit the halfway point of the evening in terms of the games that we are going to be playing. But going back, game 1, I feel like it really just started from the cat round. They were able to build momentum off of that, getting those dispatches down, not allowing the mice to escape. So I think that might be the key here. Whoever is able to open up our second game with the victory should be able to carry over that momentum, as again, it will be Bond here on the Lightning. We will be changing maps though, so it is going to be Summer Cruise. These are the picks from Joyful. They will be switching over and getting the King Jerry instead of their Mouseketeer Tuffy, which is usually the ones used to rescue their teammates in case they get tied to rockets. So that is the adaptation that they will make.
But let's see if that adaptation can do some good performances that could completely, clear this out and potentially win this round for Team Joyful. And yeah, and I don't know, it's just I'm pretty excited on how this match is going to be, because as you mentioned, this is going to be match point for Team Joyful. All they have to do is just do some exemplary performances, come here with a game number 2.
Yeah, and we are gonna go over to the patrol phase. Mice right now, they need to scout out where the pieces of cheese are, where the cakes are as well, get those extra experience.
And yeah, speaking of extra experience, I think that is what Lightning is also going to do. Just collect some concoctions for him to intake, set up some traps to, I think, wherever he feels that the mice will be moving. And for the side of the mice, however, just again, scouting out the cheese locations here, as well as looking at the location in a bigger picture here to see if there are some awesome plays that could be executed there.
And a lot of ground to cover here for Lightning. Pretty big map here on the cruise, but Should be no trouble for one of the more mobile cats in the game. And again, it's very easy for him to track down these mice. Once he is able to land one of those hits, they will be marked for him, and he should be able to get the information as far as where they are located here on the ship. So very, very easy for Lightning to stick to one target once he is able to get that initial hit in.
Yeah, committing so much mouse traps here onto the dining area. But you know what? King Jerry onto the top side. I think he is there to get some 8 XP. And this Bond right here doing a good job and actually catching our Detective Jerry. And proceeds to the staircase, but really struggling his way through. Is he going to put Jerry down? Yes, he will. But it is in the nearby Robin Hood Jerry, and that is an easy save for our team Joyful.
And very interesting, it's actually Detective Jerry that he was able to tie up first. And as you guys know, he can turn invisible. So, not often caught out here by the cats. He did tie down Robin Hood Jerry. About 40 seconds for that rescue. Instantly rescued by his teammate.
Yeah, and right now, just looking at Lightning here, he still has some more allowance to work with in capturing our mice. So he does destroy or actually remove the bunny from pushing the cheese any further. But looking at the locations of our mice right here, I think the King Jerry and Robin Hood Jerry is just pushing the cheese, which is near the deck area.
So far though, mice 2 minutes into the dispatch phase have not pushed in a wedge of cheese just yet. They are working on one right now, but this round looking better for RMF and their cat round.
Yeah, and okay, so far this is already 3 minutes down our game, and our mice still not pushing. So cheese, okay, I was jinxed there, but yeah, with the duration of 3 minutes, one cheese was pushed in. So I think our mice needs to put a little bit of extra effort to get as much cheese as possible. But in the long run, though, with the rally that happened during both Lightning and Detective Jerry onto the stairs area, finally he was able to capture him and let him get incinerated. Let's go for the potential rescue this time around, and of course the priority is still Detective Jerry.
He's really targeting Detective Jerry. I don't know what he has against Detective Jerry, but over and over he's only been tying up Detective Jerry to these rockets. But immediately the mice are able to go for that rescue. Those a lot of them have been injured already. Lightning gonna catch one of them once more. Gonna try to tie him up here. King Jerry might go for that save. Oh, they're waiting for each other here.
Oh, nice sneaky save coming from King Jerry right here, and with his shields he is opted to protect Robin Hood Jerry, but Robin Hood Jerry just really utilizing the maps right here to really lure him away from the cheese locations and to just buy time for his teammates.
And all of a sudden here, Seiya, as Robin Hood Jerry finally gets dispatched here by Lightning, during all that commotion, the mice have actually pushed in 3 wedges of cheese.
Oh, make it 4 cheese though, and all I need now is 1 more cheese to push in, which is located in the captain's quarters. Now, this is essential because look at that. He is able to capture the Magician Jerry this time. And, you know, this is gonna force Detective Jerry to actually go for the save. Or King Jerry. I think King Jerry is a much more viable rescuer here at this point, and Detective Jerry can go for that cheese push.
Yeah, looking like a very delicious pizza right now with those 4 pieces of cheese already pushed in. Let's see here. This is gonna use his ability to dash to catch out. I believe this is Magician Jerry he is currently chasing. He's gonna give up the chase on that, maybe try and prevent the final wedge from being pushed in. Does catch Detective right outside that mouse hole where they're trying to push the cheese in.
Yeah, so right now, again, I like it how Lightning is just really playing with the map right here. He knows that the cheese is into the vicinity, so all he has to do now is just to protect, or actually defend, Alfie from getting, rescued. So he was able to get rescued here, but they are having a hard time in pushing this cheese simply because Lightning is in the area.
Mhm. Trying to look for some of the mice here, prevent the escape phase from happening. There's a lot of things going on right now. A lot of mice tossing objects, a lot of targets really for Lightning right now, as he will lay down one of those traps. Gonna put the fish here to try and hinder the mice from pushing in that wedge of cheese, which they are slowly but surely pushing into the mouse hole right now.
Oh, right. Just really taking that time wherein Lightning is in an a distance so that they can go ahead and push the cheese. So now we are heading on to the escape phase, and the crack is gonna be located on to the one above the deck area. I think I would like to call it the cinematic area, simply because there are, cinema chairs there.
Yeah, they have a film showing right now.
Yeah.
But with all these mice running around, they need Lightning to clean it up first before they allow anyone to watch any movies. So King Jerry was tied to a rocket. Oh no,
Yes,
he's grabbed one
and
of them here.
all right. So Magician Jerry is able to go for the rescue once more, and look at that. He was able to dispatch two of the mice right here with that low health of the crack right here. This could have been a good option for one to at least go for the kite, and the other goes for the destroy of the crack. But looking at this, they are dancing onto the stairs area right now, so this is gonna be a bit of difficult for Magician Jerry if he keeps on kiting himself here, because look at that distance that Lightning is covering here, not so far. And let's see, he is cornered there, but was able to escape in the break of time. But he was able to get captured by Lightning in here. So off to the rocket chair he goes, I think onto the top side, so that King Jerry rather, would have a difficulty in rescuing him. So now he uses his shield, successfully saving Magician Jerry here. Was able to destroy the crack, and with that clutch was able to escape.
What an incredibly close round between these two teams. In the end, the mice will be able to make their escape. They're so joyful, gonna pick up the win there. Despite two of their players getting dispatched by the cat, they are still able to make their escape. Oh, wow, really close stuff here between these two teams. And, RMF really fighting to keep their hopes alive here in top clans. But Joyful, just one successful cat round away from moving forward to facing off against PU Clan tonight and knocking RMF out of this tournament.
So in a while, we will be checking out the scores that Team Joyful was able to gather here. And yeah, stats really speak for themselves, but I will highly, highly commend Joy Chris there with the King Jerry, because that was a very close rescue. If I do say so myself, if he didn't, rescue the Magician Jerry going for that risk, then that could have been a win for Team RMF.
Yeah, there were about, 3 seconds left on the rocket before the third dispatch. That could have easily been the victory for RMF, but now, with the momentum still on Joyful's side after that win, things are not looking so great. Remember, it's still Joyful on match point here. They are currently up 1-0 in our best of 3. So now that we are going to be switching over and putting them on the cat side, it's up to their cat player now to try and dispatch all of the mice, prevent them from escaping, and really just end this best of 3 and move them forward in the bracket.
Truly. But you know what? This goes to show that even if you're kind of using the classics, here. But if you really use it effectively, then it's just, you know, really working on your favor here. So pretty interesting. That you know, it has a very similar trend, not actually a different trend in comparison with yesterday's matches. So I don't know. I'm still in awe on how they can actually pull off that kind of strategies right now.
Yeah, pretty close round as well between the two teams. And heading into the next one, considering how close it was, I'm sure that RMF will still be fighting here for their spot in the tournament. It might be just another close round between these two teams who seem to be very, very closely matched, actually, which is a big contrast to, you know, the teams that we did see compete earlier today. Remember, game one, very one-sided for our winning team. So I am just expecting another very close round here in our second game for the next one.
So in a while, let's see if are we going to load ourselves up into game number 3, or would Joyful, you know, swagged up some enough points to actually secure their spot onto and to actually face PI Clan if ever. But you know, while waiting for that, guys, again, like I know, I mean, I've been repeating this for some consecutive times, but guys, you know, join in the fun as well, as you can download this game that is available in the App Store and Google Play. We are also having some giveaways of codes for you guys to, you know, get some freebies into the game. So all you have to do is just follow the simple instructions that is indicated onto the pinned comments. Go onto that website and exchange the code, which is usually seen into the lower right of your screens right there every time we are in game. And once you have exchanged that into the website, you know, you go log into the game, and there you have it. You have some freebies up for grabs. But right now, looks like, you know, RMF was able to push it through in a game number 3 here.
So it is going to be a pretty much standard mouse lineup now for RMF, apart from the Pirate Jerry that we don't usually see. He does deal a bit of damage here to the cats, can toss his coins out and, you know, just try and annoy the cats here. Can also sabotage a couple of rockets if he is given the chance. But yeah, this is still tournament life on the line for RMF. Let's see whether or not they can make their escapes here and, you know, push this best of 3 all the way to that third, final, and deciding game.
Truly. So without further ado, you know, let's head on to the game very shortly right now. I don't want to do some countdowns because I think I might, you know, call it a bit early or call it a bit late. So, you know, I'll just wait for the transition to ending in 3, 2, 1, go. There you go. I got it. It was not intentional.
It looks like, yeah, your countdown just on time. We'll be heading into the cruise ship once more.
Alright, so Tom here onto the boiler room, just setting up some traps here, you know, predicting to where the mice or any mouse would go. And for the side of the mice right here, just patrolling deck 1 and into the that bird floor, third floor, bird floor. And okay, going here, just really scouting really well the cheese all throughout. So really, it kind of depends on the mouse on how they would play around the area, because this map is quite big.
Yeah, a lot of ground to cover for this map, and seeing that it is not lightning now on the cat ground, it's actually Tom. He won't be able to chase and, you know, dash around as effectively as his other cat counterpart. But of course, Tom does excel at trying to find these good spots. Once he does land a hit onto one of the mice, it does gain a speed boost, so he will be able to continuously, you know, run them down as a cat. And this is something of a common strat that we've seen a lot of Tom players do. Once they do find that invisibility, they will just stick with that, try to find one of the isolated mice, and start whacking away at them. And start tying them up to rockets. So did spot out King Jerry here, already grabs one of the mice.
In a very convenient position to boot, but onto the lower side of our screens, guys, we did see that they are able to get some cheese from the top area, but you know what, in the process they are able to put the King Jerry into the chair. So the classic Jerry is injured here, so I think that is the next target of Tom, which he successfully is able to capture, and off to the rocket chair he goes once again. So this could be a potential save for Pirate Jerry right here, but getting that concoctions ready. Yeah, he just really would like to secure this patch first, so I could understand the reason behind he's not really going a far distance with the chaired Jerry.
And very early on, the mice are actually already able to push in one wedge of cheese. But it seems like Tom is committing here to defending Jerry on the rocket, but it does give... He's actually able to grab one of them instantly here, so... Let's see, he's gonna tie him up to a rocket here, but with this commotion right now, we're seeing two wedges of cheese already being pushed in, as Jerry once again will be saved by his teammates.
And yeah, but I think the priority still is there, because King Jerry was the one tied onto the rocket chair earlier, and that is a quick dispatch for the side of Team Joyful right here.
Alright, now looking towards the top half of the map here, it seems like the classic Jerry will just make a rotation to the bottom half. And the mice are bunched up right now, so if Tom is able to find one of them, he might just find all of them.
Yeah, and
King Jerry actually already dispatched here.
Yeah, with King Jerry out of the board, this kind of like decreases the defense of our mice right here, but they are able to really push down some cheese in the long run. But as mentioned earlier, he was able to capture the mouse right there, but again, still sticking to the priority, he will be opting to go for that classic Jerry and just actually wait for him to be dispatched, because if that happens, I think the game might be, in the favorable hands of Team Joyful.
Oh, and with that, not able to rescue him at all there. Mice down to 2 players right now. And Joyful now only one dispatch away from knocking out RMF here in game 2.
Yeah, so I think, Tomcat is just really taking his time, because the fact that both of the cheese is in the dining area and he is in the nearby vicinity, he could just, really camp those cheese right there and just whack the incoming mice.
Yeah, does have his handy fly swatter, which surprisingly is also effective against mice. Does grab Detective Jerry here.
Alright. Pretty interesting here. He was able to grab Detective Jerry, as you mentioned. So this is the third mice that is going to be rocketed down the chair. So basically all Tom has to do is just guard Detective Jerry here. Unless, of course, he goes for that commit here to actually go and chase Pirate Jerry.
Hey, he knows that there's only one guy left. He knows that there's nobody to rescue Detective Jerry. And with that, it looks like this might be the end. About halfway through our dispatch round, Joyful are gonna take this. No mice left to rescue. Just gonna wait here until both of them are flown off on these rockets.
Really dancing in front of our mice right there.
Alright, so Tom just gonna have a quick dance, yeah? He has plenty of time here.
Indeed. See, dancing. Oh man, that is just flexing his skins right there through and through. And of course, there's no question that he is gonna dance to victory right there with, successfully getting all of those mice and, gathering up another whopping 6 points up on their sleeves.
Yeah, and just like that, looks like Joyful are gonna be able to win their cat round as well in a pretty dominant fashion. With those early dispatches, it was really easy for Tom to just chase down the rest of the members, and I like that he didn't exactly wait around for the last one. He hunted down the final Jerry as Joyful just gonna take this one in a pretty convincing manner as well.
Yeah, indeed. And of course, stats really speaks for themselves. And you just have to, take into consideration that momentum can really change the pace of the game. Okay, sure, the mice would have the upper hand onto the starting phases, but at the end of the day, it's basically about how Tom kind of like copes up with the, with how the situation is at now, being deterred to whatever the Jerry's are actually dishing. And with just like that, they are able to gather another 6 points for their side. And I think this is a 2-0, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Joyful able to pick up that 2-0 victory here in our lower bracket going up against RMF. RMF unfortunately now out of the tournament, and it seems like it will be Joyful who will be facing off against PU Clan in our next best of 3. And they will be needing the momentum that they get from this series heading over to the next one against PU Clan if they do want to pick up that victory. But so far here in Group A, things are looking very, very competitive, and I wonder just how that stacks up against the rest of the groups.
But you know what? We will be finding out those stats or those positions further on as our days pass by, because this is still the day 2 and only on groups A, which the matches are the ones scheduled for today. So right now, as you mentioned, it's going to be, Team Joyful versus Team PIU Clan later on into our faces. But yeah, in a bit, we will be seeing who is declared as the MVP right here. But I have a feeling that it's going to be, Joyful's Tomcat, because that beautiful dispatch of 4 mice is, something that you have to really highlight it up.
Very important to see who will get that award. But yeah, just talking a bit here about our next game. It will be PU Clan versus Joyful, and PU Clan need to bounce back here considering that they are coming off from a loss and they are facing a team with a bit of momentum right now, just having won a best of 3 2-0. So it will be a very important factor for them to just try to bounce back after their loss earlier today, as we head on to our lower bracket, and we're gonna find out actually the second team that will be booted out of the tournament.
So yes, this as mentioned, this may be a double elimination, but for this time around, they don't really have the luxury to actually sit back, because they are going to fight for their spot right here. So it's really essential that they kind of, if this is the perfect time to actually dish out whatever new strategies that they can pull off to really throw the opposing team off guard.
Gonna need to pull out all the stops as it is. Of course, the lower bracket, can't make that many mistakes here if you wanna stay in the tournament. But again, there's still a lot more competition. Even though we are nearing the conclusion of Group A, we still have 3 more groups to hash out and figure out who will be heading over to our knockout stage. So still, there's a lot of Tom and Jerry chase to be played for all of these teams and players that were invited here for Top Clans.
Truly. And yeah, I'm just pretty excited to see who either Team Joyful or Team PIU Clan to, actually advance into our brackets. And there's really nothing much more to say at this point because yeah, in both of in skills they are pretty prowess in terms of how efficient they can use both cat and a mouse. But it all just comes down to whoever gets targeted first, whoever gets the momentum first, and whoever basically executes the game well first.
Yeah, right now, really, you're thinking about who might have won our lucky draw from the last match if they were able to predict correctly that Joyful was gonna be the ones coming out on top here. And again, I think for a lot of the teams competing, especially talking about tomorrow as well, we're still gonna have more competition. I believe it will be Group B that will be going up next. Of course, yesterday we did have action from both groups A and B, and we did figure out which of the teams did go over to our lower side of the bracket. So tomorrow we will be, having a pretty much similar style for today. We will be figuring out two more teams that will be going home and two more that will be potentially moving over to the rest of our knockout stages here and fighting for that pretty big prize pool of $20,000.
Yes, I mean you could really, buy a lot of food with that whopping amount of money. But going back, guys, you too can experience all the fun and action of this game. All you have to do is just really download it, which is available in the App Store and Google Play, guys. I mean, I've been repeating it over and over, but it's essential and it's really fun to play. But you know what? They kind of cut me off there because the MVP of our game, as predicted, it's going to be the Tomcat of Team Joyful here with that whopping average score of 3,921, 7 throws that were hit, 7.5, brought tied to the rocket chair, and basically 3.5 mice that were captured. So, or dispatched.
I'm not quite sure how you can dispatch 3.5 mice, but I'll give it to him anyways, guys. Again, here is one of the things we have going on for the Top Clans Tom and Jerry Chase SEA Invitational. It is our lucky draw, and it's very easy for all of you to participate. Actually, just need to properly predict who will win the upcoming match, and just comment with your in-game IDs as well. More details on the pinned comments, and you might potentially win some freebies from us.
Truly, and with that being said, in a bit we will be heading on to the highlights. But yeah, let me just finish what I just said earlier. Of course, you guys can win some freebies as well. All you have to do is go onto the website, follow the instructions onto the pinned comments as well, exchange the codes, and log into the game for that freebies to be activated. But for now, guys, before we actually head on to our, final match of the day between PIU Clan and Team Joyful, let's head on to a quick break right here. Again, we are your commentators for today's match. My name's Siora, and with me is Chisto. Don't go anywhere.
And we're back, guys, for the final game of the evening. Welcome to Top Clans 2020 Tom and Jerry Chase SEA Invitational. We are heading, like I mentioned earlier, to our third and final game. I'm excited to see this. It's Joyful and PU Clan. We're going to be your commentators for this one. My name is Chisto. Alongside me is Seiya. How are you feeling about our third and final game of the evening?
Pretty excited, Chista. I mean, I would love to find out who gets to really save their spot here and still move forward into our tournament. And as you mentioned, unfortunately, the losing team is gonna pack up right now. But it's still kudos to making it too far in advance. But let's greet them for later, because right now it's going to be again the battle between PIU Clan and Team Joyful.
And just to talk about really the story of how both of these teams got here, remember earlier today it was PU Clan dropping down from the upper bracket, but more on that later as we see here the team overview for Joyful. So you can see really want to highlight AOM here, their cat player, because he has been the MVP and has been carrying the momentum for most of their best of threes. And see over on the opposite side, PU Clan, a lot of Robin Hood Jerry players from their mice here.
So it's pretty interesting to see, but so far we haven't seen Devil Jerry and that Toodles and Topsy picks for this day, specifically for the side of our team. So I'm like what I said earlier, this is their chance to actually dish out some pretty interesting strategy that could really knock the opposing team off guard. So yeah.
And you were talking about Devil Jerry. We really haven't seen that much of him being played today. Yesterday, there were a lot of teams that wanted to go for it, but now I want to go back and bring up one thing that we were talking about earlier, how the teams got here. Remember, PU Clan did drop from our upper bracket earlier today. And for Joyful, they are, riding a bit of momentum right now, just picking up a 2-0 and, still surviving here in our lower bracket. So I'm very excited to see how both of these teams will match up against each other, as we are really going to see the picks here. AOM going to be sticking with the classic Tom, whereas it's a bit more standard now for PIU Clan with their Jerrys.
Okay, not going to see any different line choices for the mice right here. So I think they're just really going all out. They're just really going with the fundamentals here, and just to really execute their gameplays as much as they can.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do. You need to go all out. You're already in the lower bracket. You need to fight for your life here in the tournament. So you gotta put your best foot forward, basically, and give yourself the best chance of winning. And like you mentioned, picking up these pretty standard picks for the mice will give them the best chance of that. As guys, we are gonna head over now to the patrol phase. Both teams gonna scout out the map, figure out where everything is, try and get their bearings as well.
And speaking of bearings, looks like Tom here just really utilizing the pipes to transition really easily from one area to another, while collecting some concoctions there. And of course, the usual trend that we see, invisibility onto the early phases of our game, to simply take in the mice by surprise here. And yeah, other than scrolling into different areas of our map, the mice right here is positioned in a pretty dispersed area wherein they can use that to their advantage, but at the same time, Tom here I think he's just really throwing away some items here so that it's not going to be utilized further on.
And speaking of Tom, this is a pretty common strategy for our cats if they are able to turn invisible at the start. They're just gonna wait and try to find one of the mice that veered too far from the rest of his group. So right now you see the mice, they're very much clumped up here by the deck, and they're not gonna want to isolate themselves too much until they've spotted out where the cat is, and right now he's lurking. He's found the magician.
Okay, so this is going to be an early chase for the side of Team Joyful right here. So doing a pretty good job and actually getting the Magician Jerry here. So off to the Rocket Chair he goes. I think he's going to go on to the nearest one. But, the struggles of Magician, he is not able to struggle his way out though. So right now, Mousetrap is going to be hovered in there. Wilts, King Jerry in the vicinity. I think he's going to use his shields to rescue. Oh, but he was caught into that mousetrap right here. And this time around, Joy was able to get King Jerry captured and placed into the rocket chair. But Detective Jerry on his way to Magician Jerry for that potential save, but was frozen by the ice cube. Let's see. Alright, so this is going to put in a lot of effort for the side of the mice, forcing Classic Jerry to save King Jerry there earlier.
Yeah, and really AOM right now on this, Tom, not wasting any time to tie up these mice onto the rockets, really putting a lot of pressure on them at the moment. One of the mice did get rescued, but it will put the other mice in trouble as he's found them on a mousetrap. King Jerry is in big trouble right now. Already gets grabbed by Tom. Should be able to find a rocket here shortly.
Okay, so the Magician Jerry was rescued and shortly after on the top side, the bunny that he summoned got the cheese. So right now, looking at the odds, they were able to save King Jerry once again, but was cornered down, and in exchange, there was a trade that is going to happen here. And yeah, this time he was able to dispatch completely the Magician Jerry here, so this kind of narrows down the options for Joy.
Joyful almost got the King Jerry there, but I think PU Clan got lucky that, oh no, they're in big trouble right now. Tom is starting to get a lot of momentum. He's on a roll basically. Whenever somebody gets tied to a rocket, he's almost all the time catching out these mice trying to go for the rescue.
And look at that, another mouse in the can. So this is going to pressure at Detective Jerry from, actually saving the mice right here. So he is gonna go into Magician Jerry, but I like it how he is, guarding Classic Jerry here onto the rocket chair. Really want to secure that dispatch.
King Jerry seems to be having a bit of trouble as well, trying to rescue the rest of his teammates. Is Detective Jerry gonna put himself in harm's way? Is able to find a rescue, but at what cost? He puts himself in trouble as well. This looks like it's gonna be a very quick dispatch round for Joyful, as Detective Jerry will get flown off. Things not looking good here for PU Clan. Seems like they're still struggling to bounce back here, SEA, as two of them already being dispatched. With only one piece being pushed in.
Yeah. With only one piece of cheese only pushed and down to 2 mouse. So really on a frenzy mode here for the side of Team Joyful. And I like it that he's just really being patient right now, since we do know that King Jerry and the Classic Jerry has been seated on the rocket chair. So all he has to do is just be patient, really just get them here, like so, playing around the area, trying to kite as much as possible. But, unfortunately, he was captured by Tom here, and off the rocket chair he goes with 40 seconds remaining. Let's see, he will be going for the save. Let's see if he is able to really secure down the Classic Jerry, playing along the staircase area once more. He was able to capture Jerry here, and I think this is a dispatch for 30 seconds, so the time is depleting as possible. So this is like a constant wheel that's been happening right here, doing the same things over and over again. But this is just being in favor for Tom at this point.
20 seconds left for King Jerry to potentially make a rescue, and Tom playing this one out very, very aggressively, really just trying to go for the final mouse. And with that, that is the victory for the Cats over and over, just able to find them. The moment they get rescued, Tom's just actually on their toes again, just able to chase them down and just tie them right back up. And looks like Joyful are going to be striking first here in our final best of 3 as AOM, grabbing all the momentum from his MVP, still carrying it over to this one, is able to put his team up here in this first round and get that momentum. It's going to be up to the mouse round now for Joyful if they really want to secure this game 1.
True, and this kind of puts Team Joyful in an advantageous space since they are going to play out as the mice this time around in our second half. So you got a lot of choices and actually options to work with, especially when you are playing as a mice. So I think this is going to be an important, lesson for both sides of the team actually to not really do the same things over and over again, especially if it's favored by the cat.
Yeah, and one thing that we were talking about a lot earlier is how important, the momentum is, and the fact that Joyful are able to pick up the first round playing as the cat. I think their mouse players now will be able to, use that momentum and just give them a higher chance of escaping, I should say. So there's gonna be a big test right now for PU Clan's cat player to try and potentially dispatch all of Joyful's members, because I'm sure that they will be, feeling positive about themselves right now and are gonna try their best here to escape.
Indeed, but yeah, for the side of PIU Clan, they have to make things work right here to actually even out the odds, actually dispatching 3 or more mice here to force a game or around number 3 rather.
We'll see. Of course, things will be swapping over right now, like we mentioned earlier. So if we want to see that game 3 here to decide who moves on here in the tournament, who goes home, we'll just have to wait and see. Again, lower bracket action here for top clans between PU Clan and Joyful. And again, Joyful, like we mentioned earlier, is still riding that momentum from our second best of 3 series of the day. Really just using that to gain some wins here against PU Clan.
And yeah, I think for the side of our respective teams, we will be heading on to the picking phase in a short while. But yeah, again, to those who are currently watching the stream, guys, go and join into the fun right now. You can download this game, which is available in the App Store and Google Play. There is going to be some codes that will be, shown into the lower side of your screen whenever we are in the game. So if you are able to claim that code into the website that is indicated into the comment section of this live stream, you guys can get some goodies in the actual game. So what you guys waiting for? That's childhood. That's childhood. You might wanna.
Yeah, give the game a try, guys. And here we see the picks pretty much standard for Joyful here. Very interesting that we get to see Pirate Jerry once more. Of course, does help with damaging the cat and sabotaging the rockets as well. But we've always seen Detective and Magician
sorry.
over and over. I feel like they're really the standard 2 mice that you have to bring if you want to give your team the best chance of winning.
But really swapping that King Jerry out to Pirate Jerry does have its pros and cons as well, because you did witness into our previous matches before that in terms of efficiency, King Jerry has the upper hand here, especially when tanking up and going for some rescues. But let's see if Team Joyful is really pretty confident enough to face Team PU Clan here rather, to see if this Pirate Jerry is going to be used in the maximum efficiency.
Yeah, and you were talking about King Jerry earlier and how he's not in this current lineup of mice. He's actually a very, very strong character when it comes to saving his teammates. He does have that shield that can't stop an attack, so it will delay the cat from actually catching you. And it also has that scepter that he can bring out that will grant invincibility to your nearby teammates. So not having that strength in terms of saving your allies might be a thing that Miji here can capitalize on if you are the cat.
And yeah, going back here, still the patrolling phase. I think that Miji here is just trying to play around the area, just looking for some potions that he could intake. And with that being said, I think we are already heading on to the dispatch phase of our game, Chisto. So this is going to be pretty interesting because Miji is able to spot one mouse in the area. So knowing that there is some cheese into the film area, I think he is gonna go bound for some traps later on, but decides to go for some invisibility right here and try to take them by surprise.
This is again the pretty common strategy for a lot of our cat players to find one of the mice that isn't grouped up with the rest of his team, as Miji will land that first swat here onto Detective Jerry. Does grab him, will put him up on a rocket right now. Now, let's see what the other mice decide to do here. They do have a lot of time to try and go for this rescue. A lot of time as well to push some wedges of cheese in.
Ooh, that was some speedy flash skill sets for Ted the Magician, really evading Tom from actually capturing him. So the save is going to be used, and helmet to boot to add his protection here, but in exchange, Pirate Jerry is going to be captured in the long run. So Tuffy is in the nearby area, but let's see up to what extent they can go for the save. Oh, trapped in the mouse trap does the Magician Jerry go, so this might be a potential trade, but I think he kind of lost them in a slight run. But again, Mouseketeer Tuffy is the one who's going to be seated in the rocket chair this time around. 3 of the mice is injured right now, so very risky to go for the rescue. But you know what? He is going to go either way. But the unfortunate event right here is that, ooh, Detective Jerry off the hook, off the bat, dispatched very early into our game.
And that's gonna be pretty big here for PU Clan if they are trying to bounce back here in our best of 3. The fact that one of the mice have already been dispatched is gonna make it a lot harder for the rest of the mice right now to try and potentially get away. They have pushed in one wedge of cheese, but there's still a lot of work to be done if they wanna successfully pull off this escape against Tom. I do see some of them working towards some of these wedges. We are working and trying to push these in, but Miji is on the hunt.
Alright, so the cheese is going to be pushed through in one of those mouse holes right here. So now Alvin is going to be the one to kite his way out here. Oh, but he was smacked by Tom right here. So off the rocket chair he goes, but Mouseketeer Tuffy in the nearby area is gonna go for the save.
Pirate Jerry though is still strapped here onto this rocket, so gonna call his team here to try and go for that rescue. They do get him off the rocket for now, but Mouseketeer Tuffy trying his best to get away here. You are gonna be bouncing on those lifesavers here.
So yeah, with the low break of health, finally Miji was able to take down Mouseketeer Tuffy, but was stunned with the help of Magician Jerry right here. So again, he is back to square one in capturing Tuffy, and really hot on his tails right now. So this is going to force both Pirate and Magician Jerry to push that cheese rather, onto the mouse hole. But again, frozen as that, and with that simultaneous situation that just happened, they were able to snag up some cheese and save Tuffy against Tom.
Tuffy was doing a great job of actually kiting around until he got grabbed by Miji here. He is gonna go down here and strap him up to one of these rockets, 50 seconds to try and rescue Tuffy. And still, the mice now have slowed down in terms of pushing the wedges of cheese in. I think Magician will try to push in their third with this rabbit, while they are gonna go for the rescue right now, and they do.
Meanwhile, the bunny for Magician Jerry is working on to pushing that cheese into the film area. So right now he is able to capture Mouseketeer Tuffy once again. So 40 seconds on the clock. But look at that, a dynamite is on standby, so Tom has to really get away here. It's gonna go kaboom, and it stuns down the Mouseketeer Tuffy, but everything is just going haywire here. But Musketeer Jerry, however, was able to escape here. Musketeer Tuffy, rather.
Really close stuff right now, and a pretty extended dispatch phase now, as we are heading 4 minutes left here into dispatch. The mice have only pushed in 3 wedges of cheese. They need to push in 2 more. And knowing that they do have Magician here means that they can summon those rabbits, summon those bunnies to try and help them push in those wedges of cheese and help their team escape here. Miji working here, trying to get Mouseketeer to...
Nice. They are able to take Tom with the hit right there, stunning him down to give himself some space to actually go around and you know, just like that. Looking at how they transition themselves right here, they are moving really fast onto that deck 1 here so that they could push the cheese. Magician Jerry, however, I think is going into the dining room to potentially get some boosts for him to go for that potential luring.
And having Magician right now is really giving the mice so much value, because it's letting the bunny push some of those wedges of cheese in, and now with 3 minutes left in the dispatch phase, they're only 1 wedge of cheese away from triggering the escape phase here and finding that crack in the wall. Let's see how much work Miji can get done here. Alright, now the mice are fairly clumped up here apart from Mouseketeer Tuffy, who is all the way down here in the boiler room, waiting for his team to find the cat. Of course, Jerry has booby-trapped the mouse hole near that final wedge of cheese that the mouse are going for. 2.5 minutes left here. I wonder what they can do here to actually get Tom off of the area.
So yeah, 1 cheese was pushed in rather into that mouse trap. But look at that, a lot of mouse to and fro really trapped in here. So really stunning down Tom here. That can be into their advantage.
Has found Mouseketeer Tuffy here, but they do successfully get the cheese into the hole. Now the challenge for the mice is if they are able to push this in. 2 of them are injured right now, so it's not looking too great for them. Less than 2 minutes to go here. Very, very close round.
Yeah,
mice are on the verge of escaping.
Yeah, so far here on, they really have to push this way through, have to, you know, find out some strategies that could really lure in Tom. And speaking of strategy, that could be the way, actually, you know, depleting the health of Tom for that potential stun.
He has grabbed Pirate Jerry here, so it will give the mice a lot more problems. There's only 25 seconds to try and rescue him. Alright. Magician has ordered his summoned rabbit to push in that wedge of cheese, and finally they do trigger the escape phase just before time runs out. So they have 4 minutes to get to this crack right now and try
Easy, a
and
little
bust
bit
it.
confused there into the cabin area rather, trying to, have a hard time. But look at that dynamite onto the crack right there, kind of depleted its sturdiness by the boot. So all they have to do now basically is to just keep on doing that. But you know what? Pirate Jerry is going to be tied into the rocket chair with 30 seconds, 20 seconds rather, on the clock. So they have to do it all very simultaneously to save Pirate Jerry. And I think they don't have. Oh, they did have that time in the buzzer beater to save Pirate Jerry.
Very close stuff right there, Seiya. And now halfway through opening the crack, the mice are slowly but surely gonna bust this one wide open. Magician summoning his rabbit here just to help them quite a bit more. Looks like Joyful will be able to escape here just in the nick of time. Just a few more hits onto that crack and they will be able to escape. I think Joyful will be running away here with our game 1 win, winning both rounds on the cat and the mouse. So really nicely done there from Joyful. So PU Clan now gonna have a lot to think about heading into our game 2, because right now it's tournament life on the line for them and match point for Joyful.
True. So if they are able to win, really secure their rounds into the second round that we will be having shortly, Team Joyful might be able to secure their spot.
See here the quick stats from that game. Miji was working really hard to try and get those dispatches down, landed quite a bit of attacks, did tie up the mice quite often to those rockets. Unfortunately, in the end, was not able to close it out and give his team a fighting chance. And like we mentioned, Joyful gonna go up 1-0 in our best of 3, and now potentially on the verge of sending a PU Clan home after that very, very close first round between the two. So PU Clan do have a lot to think about here for round 2. They need to start adjusting, adapting, and grabbing back some of that momentum if they do want to force that final and deciding game 3.
True, and the winning conditions for PU Clan is a bit narrowed down. They have to, actually do well in terms of the cat face and their mouse faces right here to round number 2 for them to actually force round number 3. Because if they keep on letting Joyful, have that momentum, it's gonna be their spot for them right now to secure.
Yeah, and again, we're nearing the end of tonight's competition, and man, it has been really, really close. Just talking about how we got here, really, game 1 pretty one-sided for the teams that did compete earlier, but game 2 I feel like was really the big turning point for Joyful. The fact that even though they were in the lower bracket, they were able to grab momentum for themselves, and right now they're looking really, really strong going up against PU Clan. So all eyes on PU Clan right now, guys, if they are going to be able to force that decider.
So we just have to wait and see, because later on we will be loading into our picking phase this time. So pretty interesting. As mentioned, they have to focus really on that fundamental picks, because they can't really afford any more experiments right here. They don't have the cushion to really go lax.
And I'm looking here right now, it seems like PU Clan will be starting off our second round here playing as the Cats first, I believe. So it's gonna be still Miji here who will be competing for PU Clan. He's gonna try and get the dispatches down for sure now and really just try to win around that PU Clan badly needs, because he was even though he was able to dispatch a couple of the mice in our previous rounds, he needs to close it out. He needs to finish the job once he does gain an advantage for himself, because I feel like some of the cats here have been struggling after getting that first dispatch. They have been struggling to slow down the rest of the other mice who have been actually doing an excellent job of kiting around and rescuing each other just in the nick of time before they get rocketed off by Tom.
True. So yeah, again, still execution is going to be the deciding factor for both sides of our team. So I'm pretty excited, really, to find out if Joyful is gonna go berserk to actually secure their spot, or will PIU Clan, find that miracle moment wherein they, magically turn our tables around and force another game. But yeah, in a bit we will be heading on to, as I said, the picking phase for this first half of round number 2. And
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Joyful will be staying pretty happy with the situation that they have put themselves in. They've put themselves in a great spot, as here we see the picks. We will be heading over into Classic House. That will be the map that PU Clan will be starting off on for now. And seems like it will be pretty much the same mice here for Joyful. Musketeer Tuffy, Detective Magician, who did so much work, by the way, for Joyful. And finally, that Pirate Jerry, who we really haven't seen that much shine, despite him being able to toss his coin at the cat, and despite Pirate Jerry being able to sabotage some of the rockets with his abilities, we really haven't seen that used to a big extent here so far in the competition. So we're yet to see a big play come out from the Pirate Jerrys right now. So far, most of them have just been getting dispatched by the cats.
Yeah, and yeah, like we said, although they have the similar compositions during our first round, the thing is, though, the difference that it can make is, I think, is going to be how they, place themselves, and how they are able to really roam around the map for, to actually place it in a manner wherein they are in an advantage.
And now Miji just breaking a lot of the stuff here. Just tossing some of these vases around. Doesn't want the mice to use it against him. He is scouting out the area. The mice have found one of the wedges of cheese though. So they do have some information on where they might be starting this one off. And so far, Tom hasn't turned invisible just yet here. So none of those sneaky strats to start off the round like we commonly see from these Toms.
I think because he is trying to save that concoction for later, maybe during the dispatch phase, just so he could really maximize the invisibility time that he has during that time. So yeah, with that being said, we are going to head on to the dispatch phase right now, and he is gonna start it off with transporting stuff in the patio. So right now the mice are actually grouped up together right now. Okay, so the Pirate Jerry was there in the area, so alright, he is the target for our Tom right here, and that is an early rocket chair placement.
Yeah, I told you, most of the Pirate Jerrys that we've seen in the competition have just been booted out, as it seems like we do have a bit of a pause right now. So we'll see the teams try to get that sorted for a bit. But before we head on with the match, guys, it seems like we will actually be going on to a very quick break before we conclude a match point here for Joyful.
Yeah, maybe, just add some tweaks right here and there. So yeah, with that being said, guys, we are gonna head on to a short break, but guys, do not go anywhere, because this is going to be a potential match point for Team Joyful or Team PIU Clan.
Oh, okay, it seems like we'll actually be sticking around for quite a bit, but pretty interesting start here for our potentially deciding game between Joyful and PIU Clan. Of course, we were saying that they did have a pretty standard lineup in terms of what mice they did decide to bring to the table. Pretty much the same, always bringing detective and the magician. Both very effective for the mice.
All right. So yeah, that was a bit of a a cliffhanger moment for me because I was really excited to see whether or not they, as mentioned earlier, they are able to secure, or maybe PIU Clan goes in for that turn of events. And yeah, pretty just goes through. I think they would still focus on the fundamentals that they did during the previous rounds, just containing the cat as much as possible, getting some cheese, and as pushing them to a faster extent right here.
And again, I love how close the competition has been between all of the teams so far, and not to mention it's only Group A that we've seen compete here for the day. Tomorrow we do have Group B still competing. We get to decide who will join Group A, the Group A teams heading towards our knockout stage. But man, what a day of competition it has been. Really for everyone. But it seems like shortly we will be jumping right back into the game, and just as I say it, here we go. Looks like Miji will just strap Pirate Jerry back onto the chair.
Yeah, and yeah, so far Virtu here into the vicinity will be going for that save, but this time around Tom is going to go into the patio area, abusing that injured Mouseketeer Tuffy.
I always love that Tom takes the shape of whatever he has put through, much like this right now. I also like that he needs to blow on his thumb to reinflate himself. I should say, put him back in the same spot. But Joyful right now, less than 2 minutes into the dispatch phase, have already pushed in 2 wedges of cheese.
Yeah, but maybe the reason why that sort of animation is happening, because it is evident on every episode of Tom and Jerry, takes in the shape of whatever he goes into at. So going back into the game right here, so this is a good discipline for the side of Mouseketeer Tuffy, really gaining some XP so that he could open up some skills to actually contribute in containing Tom right here.
Let's see now, though, as Tom still invisible, chasing down Mouseketeer Tuffy here, finally gonna reveal himself. And he will grab Tuffy now. He's gonna take him down all the way here onto the attic. Seems to be a pretty favorite spot for a lot of the cats here on house.
Yeah. Look at this. Mouseketeer Tuffy is the one who's going to be rocketed down on the rocket chair. So, going here, this is a bit of a messy attempt to save him. Okay, was able to stun Tom in the nick of time with only 8 seconds remaining. Was not able to save Mouseketeer Jerry, but okay, that was a too close for comfort back there.
Yeah, a bit too close, I agree. Gonna grab Magician right back, and the mice are all the way up here in the attic. Let's see how this one will go down, and Miji is going to be able to dispatch and then immediately grab one of the mice here. But one thing to note though, even though he has dispatched one of these mice, Seiya, is the fact that Joyful have already pushed in 4 wedges of cheese. So there's one away from triggering that escape phase.
And you have to take note as well that even though that there is some cheese in the attic area, there is another one on the patio, so they could really play along with that. But Pirate Jerry, I think they would really want to be with him in terms of escaping as well, and decides to go for the rescue. So panning out, was not able to connect to any mice right here, so that was just good kiting for actually 3 of the members, both the pirate, both Mouseketeer and Detective as well. So Detective here this time is, I think, being the distraction. But thanks to him being invisible, this kind of blocks out the vision of Tom to where the specific locations are at.
Yeah, and it gives the rest of the mice, some information knowing which areas of the house are safe and which areas of the house aren't. The fact that the detective can just turn invisible, look the cat in the eye, and basically just, find out that, okay, he's on the opposite half. Maybe we can look for a wedge of cheese on the other side, because look how separated those wedges of cheese are on the minimap. One is all the way on the patio, one is on the attic. There is
Yes.
a tube though that connects those two areas, so that could be a factor here. But Musketeer Toffee is distracting Tom quite a bit right now.
Yeah, but this with all of that kiting sessions that Mouseketeer Tuffy did execute there, it kind of gave them an ample amount of time to get the cheese in the patio area, moving forward to the mouse hole. So I think Pirate Jerry here on this case is not gonna make it to actually save Mouseketeer Tuffy here, but this is a good opportunity for them to continue in pushing this remaining cheese. But Tom on their feet right here, and let's see how this turns out.
Alright, he's finally gonna blow himself back up to the proper shape here. That wedge of cheese awfully close to being pushed into that hole. But since it's detective and it's pirate left here, the fact that magician got booted out so early means that there's no rabbits to help push that final wedge in. Let's see how the mice decide to play this.
Take note, they have
one more wedge.
Yeah, 3 minutes on the clock right here. So Detective Jerry into the patio area side. I think he's just trying to get some buffs to and fro to actually contribute to pushing this cheese. But this is quick thinking for Miji right here, and just placing a mouse trap over there to actually let him be notified if there are some mouse in the area.
And take note, there's 2 wedges of cheese on the map right now that the mouse can work, that the mice can work with, I should say. Nearing that 3-minute point, Pirate Jerry here just gonna get hit by that frying pan, but Bruce doing some work here for the mice, which will give them enough time to trigger the escape phase. Now 2 against 1. The mice from Joyful are gonna try and escape here as the crack is in the kitchen.
Yeah, and of course catching on to the tails of the mice right here, going into the bedroom area, onto the patio, actually onto the kitchen rather, to where the crack is at. I'm not sure if the other mice are aware of the locations right here, or I think they're just getting some buffs. But Pirate Jerry being in there is already a notify that, oh, okay, the crack is here. So they just need some ample time to actually. I think the effective strategy for this one is to actually to lure out. Ooh, but look at that! He was able to stun down Jerry here, Pirate Jerry, if I'm not mistaken, and he was able to capture Detective Jerry on the long run.
Alright, let's see how this one is gonna work out, because Pirate Jerry is gonna need to save his teammate here if they do want to get away. Not looking too great because he is injured right now. Will Tom make a move? No! And just like that, PU Clan gonna be able to bounce back and pick up a victory there from Miji. Pretty close stuff there, but I think getting that final dispatch before the escape phase was very, very crucial for him there towards the end.
And yeah, that was a very nice performance by Miji over there, dispatching 3 mice up for grabs. So I think them doing a good performance as a mouse this time for our second half can really be big on their hands and go for that potential game number 3. But for now, the stats really speak for themselves. Detective Jerry really doing a lot of work in terms of pushing that cheese, although they were they did a pretty good job in actually keeping the cheese in a fast phase, but that remaining cheese kind of like threw them off right there, and was an opportunity for Miji to get that turnaround.
Yeah, and heading into the next match, let's see how this will change things for PU Clan, considering now they have the momentum back on their side. They're finally going to be able to put a round win on the board. Maybe that means they can't force that game 3, who knows? But looking at Joyful, they did still look pretty good in that previous game. It feels like they weren't in that much trouble up until that second dispatch, I believe, where I think it was Tuffy that got caught. But yeah, should be an interesting thing to watch out for heading into our second round here with Joyful on the cat round.
Mm-hmm. And shortly now we will be witnessing the second half of our round number 2. So this time around, PIU Clan is going to be the mouse, and the Joyful guys are going to be the cat. So we did see some dominating performance for the cat of Team Joyful right here. So let's see if he is able to actually dispatch again another 4 mouse off the bat.
So a lot of things to look out for, a lot of things to watch out for. I believe we will be going and seeing which picks are going to be selected here very, very shortly. But again, a lot of things to watch out for here in Game 2. It seems like PU Clan want to make things interesting for this best of 3. They don't want to make it a clean sweep for the entire day. You know, we've seen 2 zeros for Game 1, we've seen 2 zeros for Game 2. And they don't want this third game to be that 2-0. They want to extend their tournament life. So I'm pretty much excited to see how this next round is going to go. It's going to be a big turning point in this best of 3.
True, and of course, other than turning point, this is also like you can clearly see the determination to actually secure their spots for either of the teams. So far, PIU Clan kind of had a downward slope in terms of our round number 1, but this time on round number 2, in our first half, they were able to, really at least stand up a bit by taking down 3 mice on the board. But you have to consider as well that the Tom or the cat for the side of Joyful, it dishes out a certain level of threat too.
Yeah, and again, I am just super happy that we are seeing how close the competition is between these two teams. You are going to go back to the house here. It's going to be AOM, who has been making a lot of these really nice MVP level performances for his team here. Once again, with the King of Pop Tom skin, going up against these Jerrys, who have a pretty standard lineup here with Detective, with the King for the rescues, and that Magician. Let's see how that will stack up against one of the really good cat players that we've seen so far here in Top Clans.
True, and yeah, I'm really liking the King Jerry pick this time for PIU Clan because, as mentioned, he is showing some prowess in terms of actually rescuing and applying some defense for your team. So that is one vital role that they have to really consider for this type of match. I think them realizing that Pirate Jerry isn't really effective as much, kind of tweak their adjustments around.
Yeah, I actually really enjoy seeing King Jerry. Just the amount of utility and protection that he can bring to the rest of his team is very, very useful, as we are going to start the patrol phase here, Seiya. And as usual, it's going to be AOM tossing some stuff around, breaking some stuff around the house.
Yeah, we're kind of like seeing the trend already for the side of our cats, especially when the patrolling phase, because if you decide to go ahead and search for the robot mice, it's kind of like it will negate you with the opportunity of giving yourself some buffs. So
all right, now the mice have spread out here with their mice robots. They have scouted out a good chunk of this house, so they have an idea of where most of the objects are, which should be very, very useful information for them here, as we are gonna be starting the dispatch phase shortly.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, before the start of the dispatch, again, one more potion for Tom to actually go for the intake right there. And as you said, they are dispersed into our map. So Cheese as well, in terms of positionings here, but he is able to spot out two members on to the bedroom area right now and quickly catches one off the bat.
Very early on, and this is AOM just going back to why he was awarded the MVP earlier today. They will be able to make that rescue though, but he is right on the chase right now. Once again, he is targeting King Jerry. He wants to get rid of that rescue potential coming out from PU Clan right now.
Yeah, and this is really good prioritization for Joy right now, since you know, you want to, number one, take away that King Jerry, and number two, place him in a difficult rocket chair, just so you can really calculate on to the other mice on how they are able to, you know, go for the potential save. But right now, this is looking pretty good, as 13 seconds on the clock remaining for King Jerry to actually, you know, be dispatched. And this is, you know, like a minute and 30 more. And okay, so the Detective Jerry is going to be, you know, in the hands, or be grabbed by Tom, and also was trapped in the mousetrap earlier. So again, this is going to be looking good for Team Joyful right here, as they already dished out away, or took away the defense line, one of the defense lines of our mice.
Well, Detective Jerry though is going to be able to struggle his way through here. But AOM just right on the case right now, staying right on top of Detective Jerry, who's still trying to run away. Unfortunately, gets caught there on the mousetrap, but we'll be able to get away for now. Let's see how AOM decides to play this. Does finally grab Detective Jerry once more. Things not looking so great right now for PIU Clan, as one of their teammates again already being dispatched. Only two
and in
wedges
the early
of
phases.
Yeah, and only 2 wedges of cheese pushed through so far. Let's
Yeah,
see, they
so
were
go ahead.
they were able to rescue him actually, but right now Tom just right back, able to strap him to the rocket. I don't like this much for PU Clan right now, because AOM seems to be just dominating them with his Tom performance right now.
True, and I like it how Tom is just really playing out with the map right here, being patient and not really getting deterred, even though that the other mice are just being rescued right here. Because the fact that he is playing around with the map is something that you have to consider as well.
And looking at the timer right now, looks like Detective Jerry will be the next mouse here to be rocketed off from the house. Magician gonna follow quite shortly. AOM starting to run away with this game.
So yeah, again, 2 mice that were dispatched here, but look at that, Bruce in the vicinity was able to get, you know, Tom right here. So this is again another attempt for them to actually get Jerry back. But ooh, look at that, he is on his tails right here.
Oh, it's gonna get blinded as well, so it will buy the mice a bit of time. Both of them fairly injured though, so it might be very difficult for them to actually get away here. They are grouped up, so if Tom finds one, he will find the other. He is on the chase now. Magician trying his best to get away.
So again, another kiting potentials here for the side of Magician Jerry. Closes the door, was able to get that hit. I think he needs one more, or actually two more, to actually go and take the Magician down. But and then look at that, he needs one more for another whack up, just playing his sides right here. Let's see if Tom is able to get it, utilizing that corner over here to really secure the Magician Jerry. So now he uses his shields and some movement speed to boot, and off to the rocket chair he goes.
Yeah, I'm gonna put him here on the rocket in the kitchen, and this is one of those rockets that's really hard for the mice to get to. It's gonna be up to Jerry to try and rescue himself basically here. Let's see what he can
Basically, this is like the mirror image of what happened during our very first round. If you notice that, really utilizing those cupboards right there onto the kitchen area. But this time around, though, only two mice are remaining right here, and Jerry being free, trying his best to actually go for the save, was able to go for the rescue, but he is going to prioritize getting Magician Jerry first. And again, another rally is going to happen here onto the staircase area.
Oh, yeah, just going back and forth here, trying his best to kite. Gonna go through the tubes here. Oh, Magician got caught by a mousetrap, I think. He is dazed right now. And Tom is gonna be able to find the Magician. Let's see whether or not he likes this magic trick. He's gonna tie him up to a rocket and make him disappear, go poof.
Yeah, but you know what? The Jerry is already on standby with that rocketeer, but I guess he fell down right now. So all he has to do is just really wait for the Magician Jerry to really go be dispatched, and this could be a game for Team Joyful.
Yeah, he's gonna get rocketed away here from the house, and just like that, it's gonna be a victory for Joyful. And as far as the score goes, I think they are going to be able to pick up the win here after that excellent cat performance from AOM. Again, dispatching 3 of the mice, able to pick up the win here. Really nicely done there from Joyful's cat.
And yes, that speak for themselves right here. Although King Jerry unfortunately was not able to really move around our map earlier, since he was the one who was first caught by Team Joyful AOM here. So that kind of like settles the scoreboard here, Chisto, with Team Joyful securing their spot, if I'm not mistaken here.
Yeah, it seems like with this 2-0 victory for Joyful, PU Clan is unfortunately gonna get knocked out of the tournament. They will go home in the group stage, and now it seems like that will conclude all of our matches here for Group A and for the day as well. What a very nice competition it has been for all of the teams that went out here today. I was, very entertained by how well a lot of these cats were playing. It seems like most of the cat rounds were won today. They were dispatching a lot of these mice.
True, and the strategies, although I did mention earlier that there might be some, pocket picks through and through, but for the side of the lower brackets area, they really did stick to their guns and, stuck with the fundamentals, because basically you would want to really secure your spot with the best of the best compositions that you guys can, actually create. So, yeah.
And just like that will conclude all of our matches for the day, and it has been a great day of competition so far. 2-0s across the board. So Group A looking pretty strong with the teams that will be coming out of it. And for Joyful, they had to do it the hard way. They had to go through it in the lower bracket, but it didn't really seem to phase them at all. They just needed to build that early momentum, and they just carried it on for the rest of their matches, as they will go I believe 4-0 across the day here. So really, really strong stuff here coming from Joyful, and I am looking forward to the rest of the action. I think tomorrow we're gonna get to see Group B, and in a future date we get to see Group C and D compete as well for that prize pool. So yeah, a lot of things to look forward here in Tom and Jerry Chase.
True, and of course, guys, you don't want to miss out all of that fun because you too can experience all of that intensity by downloading the game, which is available on the App Store and Google Play. We are also giving away some, freebies onto the comment section. Simply follow that instruction, exchange the codes rather, which is usually spotted out in the lower side of the screen earlier. And once you exchange that, when you log in into the game, there you go. You have some freebies in store. And yeah, later on, I think we'll get to see who was the MVP of our game.
Yeah, pretty exciting stuff to look forward to. And just to recap, behind is the team that Joyful will be joining in our knockout stage. Of course, behind another one of those teams that looked pretty dominant in their game today, picking up that 2-0. It was a quick day for them as they didn't even have to drop to the lower side of our bracket. Looking pretty good, but I'm sure these teams are going to be looking forward to the knockout stages where things will be a lot more crucial. There's less room for error. You don't have that double elimination bracket cushion anymore. So once you do lose, you are just out of the tournament. A lot more crucial for these players not to make any errors in game.
Yeah, and it's just really exciting that the ones you thought was just a cartoon now is actually a game. So you can see the evolution that comes with as time passes by right here. So it's really exciting. I really was entertained as well. And with that being said, Chiso, this is going to be the MVP of our game again. Joyful AOM with that average score of 3,558.5, 9 throws, 8.5 tied into the Rockets, and dispatched 3 mice on the board. So with that being said, that very intense fight for both of our teams, and we were able to declare our winners for today's matches right now.
Yeah, well-deserved MVP once more there. He's gonna get MVP twice today, actually. So very, very big stuff there for AOM. Really strong cat player as well. Really sticking with the Tom, and a lot of the Toms today have been very, very effective. I think we saw a lot of those invisibility strats that we did see. Not the very pleasant experience if you are gonna get jumped by an invisible cat and get swatted by that fly swatter. But yeah, just looking at his stats, the fact that he's able to tie up these mice over and over to these rockets really puts a lot of pressure onto our mouse players when they are facing off against him.
Yeah, and other than that, just really you can really determine the different strategies that both of our teams are really dishing out right now. So those a lot of things to consider, a lot of things to look out for. But at the end of the day, we get to see who gets who and who chases who.
Yeah, and just like that, this is the end of the day. What day it has been for the competition, and here we see the results again. 2-0s across the board. We did start off the day with behind, taking that victory over PIU Clan for the upper bracket match, and following that, it was Joyful eliminating RMF in the lower bracket.
So yeah, with that being said, they are able to secure their spots here moving forward into the brackets right now. So yeah, we already have secured the teams for Group A. So tomorrow we will be witnessing different or a different set of teams that will be battling it out. Specifically, if you remember, during yesterday's matches, we were able to determine the first two groups, which was Group B. If you remember that, we were able to at least get to know who is going to stay into the upper brackets as well there.
Yeah, tomorrow's action should be very, very fun as it will be Group B battling it out. In the upper bracket, it is Vane Q going up against IMP. And following that, it will be Tuffy facing off against Front in the lower bracket.
And of course, that is going to be the match for tomorrow, Chisto, and I cannot wait to see who gets to really secure their spots. But right now, that is, really going to be for us right now, Chisto. And again, this is the time for us to actually pass it on to our host. We have been your commentators. My name is Sayora, and this is Chisto, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you, casters, for bringing us such an interesting game. Tomorrow's game will only be more exciting. Well, at the end, don't forget to follow our official Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch TV channels for all Top Clan 2020's news and surprises. Thank you all for watching today. Tomorrow we'll be seeing you guys again at here for Tom and Jerry Chase group stage competition. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget to tune in. Goodbye.